He did it. Hey,
Hello.
how's it going today, Peyton?
How are you?
I'm doing very well. So, I saw you saying some silly things about gun control, and we're here today to talk about it, right?
If you want to call it that.
If you want to, yeah. Sorry, I'm not trying to get you to agree right away that you were saying silly things. Uh, Also, if we have some time and you're down, we're going to talk about Trump, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm very excited. All right. So how about this? Correct me if I'm wrong, but your position is gun regulation is generally ineffective, or it's a bad idea, or it's...
I mean, what we have is pretty much good. As long as you're of age and you get the correct training, you can buy a gun.
So you do agree training can be good for guns? You're lagging a bit.
By training, hold on.
Just so you know.
Am I good?
I think so for now.
Ugh. All right. By correct training, I mean you obviously have to know how to use it.
Which doesn't exist.
I'm not.
Right now.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you don't have to have any level of training to buy a gun in the United States. At all.
You know what? All right, fair enough. And I'm honestly fine with that. I mean,
but you just said look at us. If they know how to use it and if they're of age.
I probably should have reworded that. If I use it, load in the got it. Clip. Activate the gun correctly, safety and all that, where to put your finger. That works for a trained police officer or an army veteran.
Just so you know, you are still lagging, friend. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you want to disconnect and reconnect. I don't know if it's a mic issue. But, so essentially you're saying know how to use it as in, like, know how to load it and shoot it and where the safety is?
Basic stuff, yeah.
How about I tell you my policy for gun regulation and we talk about whether or not that would be effective?
Understandable. All right.
So essentially what I'd like to do is I think people need to have gun licenses. To obtain a gun license, you'd have to pass some level of written and practical training to show that you not only know how to operate a firearm effectively, but you also know safety, how to store it, how to clean it, how to actually use it. More than just where the trigger is, but you have to be somewhat competent with the firearm. Also, I'd like people to carry some amount of liability insurance on firearms if they have them. It could be an extremely small amount. Some amount of liability insurance, gun licenses, and the gun licenses would be used to buy any new firearm or ammunition.
A license just to buy ammunition?
Yep.
That's kind of a... It's kind of a little more regulated than I thought that would be, but...
Well, not really. The point of the ammunition is everyone who owns a gun in circulation, which there are a lot of guns in circulation, they wouldn't be subject to this gun licensing program if it were just for new firearm purchases. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem like the best way to do things. So yeah, to legally buy ammunition, you'd need to present your gun license certifying, hey, I'm qualified to use a gun safely and effectively.
Okay, so how many licenses do you need? Because do you know how many guns there are?
Well, you need as many licenses as people wanting to buy ammo or guns.
What? All right, a shotgun and a pistol. Do I need separate licenses for those? Like one for the pistol, one for the shotgun?
No,
Because they both work differently.
You need a firearms license. And you could certify specific things under it. So essentially, when you go to buy a driver's license, you need certain qualifications for specific things. A general firearms license could cover the vast majority of firearms, like handguns, shotguns, some rifles, and then
Have you fired a gun?
Yeah, I own a couple.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
Guns are vastly different. Like, at least the ones I fired.
Okay. I don't know what guns you're firing that are vastly different, but
Probably shouldn't have said vastly, but either my uncle's AR-15 and a 45. I forgot what it was. It was a pistol though.
mm-hmm.
They work differently.
Yeah.
Which I had to learn. I had to learn how they both work and how to use them both correctly.
Problem is, you didn't have to learn those things to get the firearms.
No, I did not. My uncle said, "Hey, you want to shoot this?" And I pretty much learned how to use it within 10 minutes.
Okay. That doesn't.
Is it one class that you have to take?
When you say learn to use it, that doesn't talk about proficiency with a firearm, and that doesn't talk about anything about understanding, like safety with a firearm, how to effectively store it, how to effectively clean it.
I know how to do all that.
Well, you have more experience with guns than most people in this country. Congratulations. My thing is, to obtain firearms, you should probably be proficient with firearms and you should know how to use them.
Okay, I mean...
And think of it in the same way as car licensing, right? Or driving.
I understand that.
You could learn, I guess you could hop in a car and figure it out, and whatever, but it doesn't seem like the most effective way to keep people safe.
All right. So where do we draw the line? Because where do you draw the line on how much you need to learn? Because people do things differently. You got people who have gun safes and gun cabinets, which is more efficient.
Well, I assume we would enter that into the test using data.
I know, but if you can't, let's say you can't properly store a gun, you have to store it in a drawer. Does that count? Because I know a lot of people who can't afford maybe a gun cabinet or a gun safe.
Because you can store a gun safely if it has a gun lock on it in a drawer.
All right, let's say you don't have a gun lock for now. You're gonna get one, but it's not really your payday, and
well,
you just keep it in your drawer. Is that illegal?
Yeah.
Should that be illegal?
Yeah, if you have a gun license, sure.
Oh, all right. So you're pretty much doing something illegal for a week, even though you don't want to, because you gotta wait for your payday.
No. You're not doing something illegal. You're doing something illegal legal that's stupid. You're not breaking the law by doing that. You're just doing something stupid.
What if you have no other choice?
Well, then you're doing a stupid thing. I mean, fine, but it is stupid.
So people have no other choice, let's say they don't want their kid to grab it. They put it in a drawer that they can't reach.
If people don't want their kid to grab it, maybe it'd be good to educate them on the best ways to safely store a firearm. Right?
I don't...
No?
When I say kid, you can educate a 10-year-old on do not touch a gun. A 4-year-old is kind of on the stupid side, though. I've heard many stories about kids grabbing guns and doing that. These are usually toddlers of sorts.
Yeah, you know what makes toddlers not shoot themselves or other people accidentally sometimes? If the gun is safely stored and locked.
Also, since they're not strong enough to actually, Also, they don't know how the safety works. Do you also know how hard it is to squeeze the trigger?
What you're doing is you're comparing toddlers to the general level of education on guns for gun owners.
Well, you're saying
where they don't know how to do stuff? Yeah, that's my problem.
You're saying if people have no choice, that, it's just stupid, because a lot of guys do put their guns in drawers, and what if they're all by themselves? Is that still stupid? How is it stupid if they're all by themselves?
Why? Because breaking and entering occurs and stealing guns occurs. Owning a firearm doesn't make you safer statistically. It makes you it doesn't make you safer. It does increase your chances of having the gun stolen, having you shoot yourself, or having someone take your gun and shoot you. It does increase those statistics.
With how many dumb rednecks that live down here, I don't think I've ever seen one of them, or even heard of one of them, who have shot themselves. I've heard a lot of rednecks pull out their guns to threaten people on their lawn.
Do you think
I've heard a lot of
suicides?
that.
Do you think that, like, suicides by gun don't happen?
Oh, they do. It's just... Well, what's if you do take away guns for that sole reason, what's going to stop people from doing other ways?
Well, it's like an easy button. If I put an easy button in your office that you can press to kill yourself,
so it's like jumping off a cliff.
You're more likely to do it than fly yourself out a window. It's just an ease of access thing. But they're easily preventable deaths. It's much harder to take away cliffs than to make people recognize how to use guns safely and effectively, even if they commit suicide with them. I mean,
right, where do you draw the line?
It can still happen. Where
do you draw the line on, where you can get a gun license? Like maybe police training? Is that where you draw the line?
We'd probably have to set up a separate government entity to do it.
Okay, so if the U.S. government gave you an option, you go to a gun class, and if you take it and pass it, they will give you a free gun. Would you be okay with that?
No. That'd be insanely expensive.
Why? If everyone's properly trained, might as well give them a free gun.
If you go to the DMV and you get a driver's license, should they give you a free car? No. That's stupid.
Oh, there's a difference between a car and a gun, though. You see, one's a big hunk of metal that costs more than a lot of guns.
What if it's a cheap car?
What
if it's a cheap car? You can find cars for cheap.
Yeah, of course. Oh. If it's a cheap car.
So if it's a cheap car, you think they should give you a free car?
No.
Oh.
Except one country does do that. One country does do that.
What country gives you a free car when you get your driver's license?
No. My bad. Oh, God. I think it was Finland that did this. It was one of the European countries. When you turn of legal age...
Nothing. Go ahead.
All right.
When you turn of legal age?
When you turn of legal age, they give you gun training at the age of 18. And they give you a gun. And they just give it to you. You don't have to buy it. It's a pistol, though. Also, God, I remember
they give you training. Yet again,
yes,
you're agreeing with me that training is a thing.
Yes,
I want training.
When I tried to, this country has one of the lowest crime rates. Why is that?
People are trained.
I just recommended that for the United States, though. We have more money than they do. I'm sitting here
talking about gun licensing to train people how to effectively and safely use guns, and you're trying to argue against me by arguing my point. My prescription is gun licensing, and to get a gun license, you need training. That's it.
Then why'd you disagree with me when I said why don't we give every American the option to choose to go to gun classes? They would give them a free gun. That's the same thing with that country who has low crime rate. Why don't we do that with America? Because we have way more money than they do.
Why? Because our money could be better spent than by giving people free guns.
All right, like how? In any other situation?
In any other situation? What?
How
could we better spend money? I think general education would be a good way to spend money. Infrastructure is a good way to spend money. There's a ton of ways to spend money. It's weird to hear a Republican talking about increasing taxes to give people free guns. I don't know, dude.
I don't want to increase taxes. I tried suggesting that.
How do you increase spending without increasing taxes for that specific thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
You want You wanted training, man. I suggested a way. That's a way, isn't it? You train every American that wants to. Let's say you don't give them the free gun thing. All right.
Yeah, that's
You just
the
give them the
plan.
option to train. Would you want that?
Well, they do have the option to train and receive a gun license, and if they receive their gun license, they can buy ammo and firearms. So, yeah.
Like that country, though. They give you.
I don't
They
care
give you the
what
option
that
to
country
train.
does. I care what our country does.
All right, fair enough.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for the donation.
All right, what guns are you fine with? Because I think
What
that
guns am I fine with?
also depends on. I guess
No,
that also
again,
depends on what kind of training.
The big thing is safety training. That's what I care about. Once you have your gun license, any gun you can legally obtain currently in the United States, you'd still be able to obtain. And any ammunition you can legally obtain in the United States, you'd still be able to obtain. You would just need the license to demonstrate that you have received training.
Do you want this to lower homicide rates?
Why
Why do you want this?
Why? Because I don't think people with no training at all are very effective at doing things safely. Again, think about driver's licenses. We like to train people safety and practical skills so when they get on the road, they can do things safely and effectively. In the same way
So you're fine with... Sorry.
No, in the same way that if we train somebody to use a firearm safely and effectively, they will be more safe and effective than those without the training. It's the same concept as a driver's license.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
All right. So you wish to use guns to stop gun violence?
What?
Do you wish to use gun? You want people to have the correct training so they know how to use them properly. Guns to stop gun violence, because this has happened in many situations.
That wasn't the idea, but yeah, I mean, that works too.
All right.
So for people who want to like open carry or concealed carry and they want to protect themselves and they want to protect others, yeah, it'd probably be best if they know how to effectively use a firearm, no?
I mean, it's just kind of a pistol's pretty easy to use. I mean, how long would you really have to take this class? Any redneck could teach you how to use a pistol within a day, and you're good.
Maybe, but right now our system is no training at all, not even a day.
Like in the other states, they don't require training?
No.
Didn't know that.
For concealed
carry?
carry?
That was like that in Washington.
No. In the United States, you can pretty much walk into any gun store and purchase most guns just flat. You don't need any training. A blind person can buy a gun in my state. But they probably couldn't pass the practical test for the firearm. So, hey, in my system, blind people probably wouldn't be able to buy guns. If that's un-American to you, you know what? That's fine, but makes sense to me.
If they're blind, it's just the Second Amendment.
Let's talk about the Second Amendment, if you want to. So you concede that, requiring people to be trained is probably a better alternative than no training?
All right. Originally, the Second Amendment was made to stop government.
Real quick, before we move to the Second Amendment, and we will.
All right.
But do you concede that having people have some training is probably a good idea?
Yeah. If you know how to, properly aim, I guess that counts. Because I learned how to properly aim my first time shooting. I hit like 4 bullseyes.
Okay.
I guess either I'm a natural or people are really that bad of shots, but I've seen a lot of guys.
Your personal experience
really
is great, but your personal experience is very hard to extrapolate across hundreds of millions of people.
I guess, it's just the NRA. I mean, look at all those gun owners. I can guarantee you a good amount of them aren't exactly trained, but by trained, I mean personally trained. They've trained themselves and they know how to use guns perfectly.
Yet
and
again,
they still have to get a license?
Yes, because it should be much easier for them to pass the test, because it comes down to, If you drive a vehicle, you could be very good at driving it, but if you don't have a license, I don't want you on my roads.
So I need a license for my katana because I'm legally allowed to carry my
No.
katana around the neighborhood. Why? It's a deadly weapon.
It is a deadly weapon, but it doesn't
I could kill a dude.
Yeah,
with a katana.
Yeah, you could kill a dude, but it's much harder to kill a ton of people with a katana, believe it or not. And when
I can still kill someone.
When katanas start making up a major percentage of like crime and violence, we can talk about katana licensing. But for now, I'm fine with gun licensing. Weird pivot.
It's just, what if a little kid grabs a katana from a person's if someone doesn't properly store it?
If someone doesn't properly store it, then right there, they just didn't properly store it. But do they need a license? No, probably not, because generally katanas right now aren't making up that much of an issue, right?
Knives? Yeah. What about knives? You don't need a permit for that?
Refer to previous statement.
I mean, people accidentally hurt themselves with chainsaws a lot. I mean, but you need a license for that?
What's a chainsaw's intended use? Is it to kill things?
To cut trees and plants down.
Oh, so you would be misusing it to go around and kill people, right?
Yeah, you can still get hurt by it, though. You mentioned the suicide thing. I mean, shouldn't you still be properly trained how to use a chainsaw before using it? You should have a license, right?
Do I think people need to be licensed to use a chainsaw? No, not generally. Do I think people should try and receive some training on a chainsaw before they pick one up? Yeah. I mean,
but you
probably
get seriously
people
hurt. Mm-hmm. So you're saying gun owners should be required to get a license, but people who have a chainsaw, which, if that blade breaks off, you could cut your stomach open or something like that. You can cut your leg open. Mm-hmm. That's a serious injury. A gunshot wound is nothing like that.
So here's the problem with you. No. Okay, so you're asking me, do I think people should receive training on a chainsaw? Yes, generally. Do they need to be licensed? No, probably not. Because chainsaw use doesn't confer a major problem in U.S. society.
How do guns? Do you know how many deaths there are a year with guns?
Well, it depends on what you're counting. I assume that you don't want to count suicides in there either, right?
No, I do. I count the full thing. Dude, I know the numbers exactly, actually, every year.
Oh, good. Do you know
it is almost 39? It is almost 39,000 every year, gun deaths in general. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I've concluded, for a country with 300 million people, that is not bad for gun deaths. Because we have way more deaths in other areas. I'm pretty sure there are more deaths by cars.
Mm-hmm. And how much?
I'm pretty sure the flu kills more.
Okay, so let's use that 39,000 number. That's fine. And let's talk about guns versus like cars or versus other things. How easily preventable are gun deaths versus vehicle deaths? And what safety measures do we have in place to protect people in like vehicles or people who like get the flu? We already have things in place to limit those deaths. If we let everyone drive without a license, I would argue more vehicle deaths would probably happen. No?
Okay. It's proven that there are usually more car deaths. Okay. Even though cars, you got a driver's license, right? You're properly trained. Why are there more deaths?
Well, why are there more deaths? Are guns used as much as cars? I would argue that cars are actually used quite a bit more in people's everyday lives. Well, then that explains it. If your level of use is up here, then of course you're expecting incidents to be higher than if use is lower, right?
Like America, we have more people, so of course our death count with guns are going to be like that. But that is actually low. That's low compared to, let's say, other countries who have just as much as us. 39,000?
Per capita, we have one of the highest gun violence rates. And we have the highest gun violence rate and gun death rate of any Western country.
Where'd you get those stats?
They're easily obtainable. Everywhere tracks gun information. You can find this pretty easily. In the Western world, I
don't want to be that guy, but where did you get these stats? Because I only trust websites that have gov at the end of it, because the government did that research. If it has .com at the end, I wouldn't trust it because it's bullcrap. I would never go to a Trump website to get info. I would always go to a government website to get this info.
So if we use like FBI crime statistics and what crimes include a gun and what violent crimes include a gun, and we compare them to other countries who report their stats, we have the highest gun homicide rate of any Western country. Hey, Voxy. This isn't debated at all. Of Western countries, of comparable countries, we're fucking wild.
300 million, 39,000? I mean, come on, that's a low number for 300 million, and our population's growing. Of course there's going to be deaths. We can't stop that. There's going to be gun deaths.
Here's the thing.
Do you just want no gun deaths, or do you want little? What do you want?
Would I prefer less gun deaths? Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Would I prefer less avoidable deaths generally? Yeah. That's preferable, no?
It's not possible, though, unless it advances. A car, obviously, I feel like the deaths are going down because cars are getting better. Not people. People are staying the same.
But people have training, right? To drive legally in this country, you need to pass written and practical tests. All I'm saying is written and practical tests make the population using X things safer.
And like you said, guns aren't used as much as cars.
Correct. But it seems like this written and practical testing works in countries that implement it. Like the country you cited to prove my point earlier. Or if we look at a country like Japan that does the same thing. This is basic stuff. Training makes people safer.
The country that I said gives everyone guns and training, they gave them guns because, criminals are too afraid to rob you if you got a gun.
You know what's scarier than somebody with a gun?
Someone who's trained, apparently. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
How trained, though?
Dude, your argument, what if we take every, federal officers and we take police and we don't give them any training and it's just like, guns are easy, here the gun. Do you think
they're here to
that's
stop
effective?
Problems, though. They're here to stop problems. Civilians are defending themselves when they buy a gun.
Okay, what would make you more effective at defending yourself? Being trained or not being trained? I would argue being trained.
Where do you draw the line, though? Police officer training? FBI training? Do you draw the line at...
I don't know. We'd have to...
I don't think there is civilian training.
We'll workshop it. There will be civilian training under my system.
Where do you stop at, though? Like, do you learn how to load the bullets? You do that anyways.
Yeah,
you learn how to load the clip in. You do that anyways. You learn how to put the safety on. Magazine. Anyone with a brain knows how to do that.
Maybe, but guess what?
Everyone already knows how to do that, though. Anyone who buys a gun knows the basics.
That's not true.
Okay, my bad. Not anyone. At least most people in Texas know that. They know, put the clip in, put the bullets in, then the clip.
I'm sorry. Can you give me a government website that you're pulling that from? I'd like a government resource that shows me most people in Texas know how to operate a firearm at its most basic level.
I said the basics.
Yeah, give me a government website for that, because I don't trust. If it has a .com at the end of it, I don't want to listen to it.
Fair enough.
No, that was silly. Sad you didn't see that.
I think
you've already conceded that training generally makes people safer. I don't know. I'm not willing to arbitrarily put random numbers on things. But what I do know is you don't need training to purchase a firearm in this country.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a self-defense weapon. You're not learning how to...
There is something wrong with that.
You're not learning how to get into a gunfight every day. You're just learning how to defend yourself.
You don't know how to safely operate it, and you don't know how to... You don't know safety. That's it.
So you think they're a bunch of morons who just grab their gun? They don't put they keep the safety off all the time. Do you think there are people like that all the time?
Uh-huh.
How many accidental discharges do you think there are? Or misfire? Misfire. My bad.
Misfires or accidental discharges? Which do you mean? Because those are very different
Okay,
things.
my bad.
Don't you own a firearm?
No, I do not. I've used my uncle's and my grandpa's.
No, well...
And man, is it awesome. But
Yeah, I know. I shoot guns. I actually competitively shot for BSA.
so should I not be allowed to shoot a gun?
If you don't have training, no. In my system, not. Probably not.
All right,
Or at
I
least
guess
you couldn't own a
I guess
gun.
my uncle, who's
I guess
actually
if you
a
go to
pro
your-
on guns,
I guess
my uncle who
my uncle's
builds
a pro
guns.
on guns. Okay. Gotcha.
I know, but my uncle builds guns. He builds
Okay.
his own AR and
Okay.
disassembles it like almost every day.
That's
he didn't
great.
get any training, and he's an
Okay.
expert on guns.
Well, I don't know if he's an expert, but that's good. That'll be really easy for him to get his gun license. I'm excited. And then he can safely and legally operate all of his great firearms under my system and buy as much ammunition as he wants.
All right. Oh my god. All right, so the government provides the classes, right?
Sure.
Do you know why people don't like that?
People are ass pained
People
about...
who are paranoid about the government. You know, people
I
who
want a national gun registry, too. You can get upset about that.
people, are kind of afraid of the government being a tyrannical government again.
Okay.
A lot of people are afraid of that. That's another reason why the Second Amendment was made.
So, before we move to the Second Amendment, which I'm very excited to talk about, do you concede that generally training makes people safer and more effective at what they've been trained to do?
Of course, that makes sense.
Perfect.
It's
How
just you
easy
don't need
was
it.
that? But again, we're talking about prescriptions. What should we do? I'm saying, yeah, if people are generally safer, let's do that. And you're like,
So you're forcing
well, yeah,
people,
but you don't need
You're
to do
forcing
that.
people to learn how to use something they bought.
In the same way, well, you wouldn't be able to buy a gun under my system. But in the same way, I would force somebody to get a driver's license if they want to, drive.
Do you know? You can't buy a gun unless my people taught you how to use it. You can't buy a gun unless the government taught you how to use it. You know, the Second Amendment, which says you have the right to bear arms.
You can't drive a car unless you take the government's DMV course and safe driving practical courses.
You're moving probably 50 or 70 miles per hour in a big hunk of metal. There are a lot of car accidents compared to gun accidents.
True, but
Why?
again,
'Cause
we've
they're
been over
used
that. That's
more.
because of use. But guess what? Cars don't make it super effective to go into a school and kill a ton of people, or go into a mall and kill a ton of people. Believe it or not.
I think I figured out the flaw with your thing, by the way.
Please.
All the people who have guns and they don't want to go to the training. That's apparently required
and that's
by
completely fine. If you own a gun already and you don't want to go to the training, fucking cool. But if you want to buy ammunition, you need your license. So, you know what? Maybe you have a stockpile for the next 400 years of all the ammunition you'll ever need. You will never encounter my system except you'll probably be asked where your liability insurance is if you're at the range.
And if they
they're like,
legally
"Hey."
buy ammunition, are you going to take away their guns or just their ammunition?
Well, I don't know if we'll do fines or arrest them. I guess it kind of depends. But, yeah, if they illegally buy ammunition, yeah.
If you take away the ammunition, you're taking away the right to defend themselves. You know that, right? Because you need the gun and the ammo. That's how that works. If you take away one's useless.
Well, yeah. That's my entire reason for having the gun license be required to buy ammunition to get all the people.
So you don't want
who
people to
already own
defend
guns.
themselves
do.
unless they take a class.
I want.
So why do
them.
you want to take away their ammo? You want to take away their ammo.
I don't want to take anything away at all.
You're not letting them buy it unless they get a required class.
You want people to have a license to drive a car? You want to take away their car? You want to take away their right to get to work? What the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, well, I think that generally it'd be safer to have people be trained. That's it.
Oh, no, it is safer. The problem is you're taking away people's right to defend themselves if you take away the bullets.
So all we need to do, all you need to agree on, we can move to the Second Amendment. It is safer to have training. That's my entire argument. Fantastic.
Yes, I can agree with that.
That was
You just
painful.
don't need classes.
You do.
You
Because
don't
that's
need it.
what
There's a difference
training
between
is.
needs and wants. There's a difference between needs and wants.
Yeah, we're talking about prescriptions. Do you know what a prescriptive statement is? It's what we want to be the case. Right? So my prescription is training makes people safer.
Can you force people to take drugs then? If it's better for their health, can you force them?
Can I force them? No.
Because you're forcing people to get a license.
I'm not forcing them. They don't have to get a license. I don't care if they
So
do.
they can just have an empty gun on their night shelf the whole time? You're
They could,
forcing
yeah.
them because they can't use the thing they bought.
No,
Because you
I'm
didn't
not
give them any
forcing
ammo.
them because they can go and they can get their license and then they can buy all the ammunition they want.
You kind of
In the
are, because
same
what if
way-
they don't want to do it just because?
If they don't want
there
to
are
do
going to
it,
be those people.
then get fucked. If you don't want to get your driver's license, you don't get to drive. Get fucked.
Take my required class, or the Second Amendment doesn't apply to you.
Yeah, sure. And if you want to,
That's
we
dumb.
can move to
That's
the
not
second.
how the amendments work. That's not how that works.
How about this? My prescription could include scrap the Second Amendment as you understand it, and that could be part of my prescription.
What part of shall not be infringed do you not understand?
You understand that you understand that we can amend.
The
Those,
first
right?
10 amendments?
Yeah,
Really?
You understand that those can be amended, right?
You know what's going to happen if it does?
That wasn't the question. The question is, you understand they can be amended, right?
Why haven't they done it? I'm pretty sure we've had like.
Well,
did
there's
Bill
been-
support guns?
There have
Bill
been
Clinton?
talks to do it. Why does it matter what Bill Clinton supported?
You mean a bunch of morons who want to take away our freedom?
You're getting very upset, but I'm asking you, can you amend?
Because you're taking
Is
away
it
my
possible-
freedom.
Is it possible to amend the Second Amendment?
I don't think it should be. I don't think it is.
Is it possible to amend the Second Amendment? Can we do
No.
it if we so
Oh
choose
no, my
to do
bad.
so?
It is possible, but there's going to be a lot of backlash.
Okay. Maybe. But
Why
I
would you
don't-
do it though?
Why? So I don't have people sitting here getting very upset at me because they're like, but my Second Amendment, though. Because we're going to talk about it, and I guarantee you don't understand shit about the Second Amendment. But
What do you mean? The right to bear arms. It's simple.
we're going to get to it. But I think you've already conceded the point. If you have training, it makes people generally safer. I want people to be generally safer. I want training. Training, yes.
And yes, sir, like I have
you wanna
said,
talk
I
about the
agreed,
Second
but it
Amendment-
should not be required.
Well, it should, because safety.
You're forcing people.
Yep, I'm forcing people to get driver's licenses too. I'm forcing people. And you know what? I'm a big scary guy for that, but
Right to bear arms, it's in the amendments. You're taking away that. All right, let's just move on, because I'm
Yeah.
pretty stubborn about this.
oh yes you are. What's the Second Amendment, Deadpool?
The right to bear arms.
That's not the Second Amendment, Deadpool. What's the Second Amendment?
I'm sorry if what? Have I been taught the wrong thing? Has
That's
elementary
not what the
school and
Second
middle
Amendment.
school,
Yeah, that's not what
has
the
elementary
Second
school,
Amendment is.
middle
What
school,
is
and
the
high school
Second
been telling me
Amendment?
lies?
What's the Second Amendment?
Do you want me to say
You
the
can look
entire
it up.
thing? Is
Yeah.
that what you're asking?
Yeah,
You want me to
pull it up.
describe the entire Second Amendment?
Yeah, what's the Second Amendment? Why are you getting so upset over this? Dude, you're the Second Amendment whore here, okay? You're freaking out about it. You should know what it is, right?
I care about all the amendments equally because I like
Deadpool,
freedom for all.
What's the Seventh Amendment? Go.
Oh, God.
I care about them all equally. Here's an easy one. What's the 13th Amendment? I care about them all equally. That's fine. I didn't expect you to know anyway.
Fine, tell me the Second Amendment.
We're waiting on you to pull it up, because I'm going to need you to be looking at it. Here, I'll do the same thing. Are you ready to read it? We're all waiting.
Alright, I got it. Well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Good job. So that's the whole amendment. Please remember that the next time people ask you what the Second Amendment is.
The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
What's the
Did I not
entire
say that, but it was a
sentence?
shorter version?
They're not different sentences. It's one sentence. The beginning of a sentence sets up the second half of the sentence, no?
Okay, what are you trying to prove here?
Because it's not just the right is not the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's not what the right is, okay? Correct?
Why does it say right here, the right of people to keep
You're
arms
lagging a
shall
little bit.
not be infringed? It has on Google. I can screenshot it.
Yeah, I know. The problem is you're treating it like it's two different rights or amendments. It's not. The beginning, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, sets up the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, right?
So you have to join a militia, or am I still not understanding this?
Well, good news for you. Do you know what U.S. Code 246 is?
No, I do not.
I know you don't. What it does is it sets up what is considered the militia, which is any able-bodied person over 17 and under 65 in our country. Right? That's what U.S. Code 246 is. You can look it up. It's on a .gov website, so I know you'll love it. But the beginning is important to the second part. So a well-regulated militia is important. No? Because we already, under your system, we're already infringing on it. And guess what? It's ruled as constitutional. Felons can't own guns. This, and this can't own guns or arms. Citizens can't own this, and this. But the Supreme Court has said that's not infringement. Right?
Criminals, I understand that, yes.
But
Citizens should be able to own a gun, though.
Are criminals not citizens? Sir, what America do you live in? Are criminals not citizens?
Yes, because I guess all citizens are criminals.
No, but are criminals citizens? Generally?
Do they not get a second chance? Like, depending on what they did, shouldn't they be able to own a gun?
Chance. Depending on what they did? Yeah, probably. Under my
obviously,
system.
If it was a murderer, you know,
we are infringing.
5 people, he shouldn't get a gun.
You're infringing on their right. Who cares if they killed a person?
They're criminals. Right. Of course they don't get a gun. Because what if they killed people with a gun? If you didn't do anything,
you're taking away my Second Amendment.
His rights got taken away when he broke the law. He murdered people. He took away rights.
Amendment. Where does it say shall not be infringed unless you kill somebody? I just love America.
Oh, for the love of God.
You understand why reading that is shall not be infringed is a really stupid way to read that? That the Supreme Court doesn't agree with? Do you see why now?
It shouldn't be infringed because...
Do you see the point of what we just did? It's saying... shall not be infringed, that's the end-all be-all, is a very stupid thing to say, right? Because the Supreme Court doesn't agree with you, sane people don't agree with you, and you look dumb as hell. That was the point of that exercise, right?
Yeah, you know.
Good. So we can agree, under your system, we can infringe, right?
Criminals! There's a difference between someone who murdered a person and a dude who didn't do anything wrong.
Are you a Passadist?
Explain.
Should Americans be able to own personal nuclear weapons?
No, that's been banned by the United Nations.
Shall not be infringed. No, you can own nuclear weapons.
Oh,
our country
for the love of God, man.
I'm sorry, are nuclear weapons not arms now?
So you mean every gun? You just think every gun? Oh my God, dude!
We're talking about the right to bear arms. Are we talking about guns now?
Yes, guns.
Oh, I was reading the Second Amendment. I'm sorry, I didn't know you wanted to infringe on my Second Amendment. Shall not be infringed. I can own a nuke if I want to. Who are you to say?
It's a weapon of mass destruction.
Who cares? It's my right. Shall not be infringed. Read the Second Amendment. I had you pull it up. You see how...
It's a nuclear ornament. That's not...
It's a nuclear... Yeah, it's an arm, no?
You're grabbing every weapon, and you're trying to say it's an arm,
sorry.
so it should be infringed. That's not how that works.
You want to screenshot me wearing the Second Amendment? It says the right to have certain guns. You want to read me that?
There are laws for a reason.
Oh.
We don't only go by the amendments. We have laws.
Oh, we don't only go by the amendments. There are laws for a reason. Damn. It's almost like that's my entire argument. Thank you.
Yes.
So we conceded that too. Do we want to talk about Trump now?
I've been fine with that, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you said Trump was not perfect, but generally is doing a pretty good job? You're lagging a little bit. We'll give you a second.
People are only seeing the cons about our president, not the pros. At least
You're lagging a little bit. I'd unplug or mute or something and we'll figure it out.
Am I good?
I think so for now. I'll try and stop you if you're roboting out too much.
People only see the cons of our president. At least people on the left do. I try to see both. I at least want to see both, the pros and the cons. I've tried to see the pros and the cons about Obama, and I wasn't really old enough to pay attention during Clinton, so.
Okay. If you don't mind my asking, how old are you?
16.
That makes sense.
I'm sorry, what does that mean?
No, it just makes sense. I didn't have very good takes at 16.
Because I've been trying to keep my cool here, and by keep my cool, I mean when I try to have an argument, I tend not to insult people, even if I am losing or the other person's losing.
Mm-hmm.
You've been insulting me this whole time.
The whole time? No, I haven't.
Maybe not the whole time. You've been insulting me though.
I haven't.
I get it.
You like
you're winning.
Yeah.
You're winning, all right?
Whoa.
I've even admitted I'm ignorant, and you're still acting a bit childish about this. Please.
A bit childish. Well, it's just weird when somebody yells me down about, wow, read the Second Amendment, and then we read the Second Amendment, and you concede every point to me. You see how that's weird?
Yes, I was trying not to yell. I have a bit of anger issues, that is all.
No, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And we'll talk about Trump. I just want to point out, like I said, the last gun control guy I had on here, he didn't do that well. And this was your attempt to like blow him out of the water. But you've conceded everything. I would just remember that. And if you want to talk about anything in the future that I might have made a mistake on, or if you want to come back and talk about that at some point, I'm happy to do that. But, so let's talk about Trump. Yeah, everything has pros and cons, and you can recognize the pros and the cons. I would say the cons outnumber the pros to such a point that most people are justified in their anger or hatred.
So, I guess the economy, was that not him?
What do you mean?
He did boost the economy.
What do you mean he boosted the economy?
He boosted the economy's numbers by like 7.8%, I think is what I saw, but I can't exactly remember the number.
Okay. So, do you know what a bull run is?
I've heard of it. Not really sure what it is.
So it's where our economy is just going up. Like, we just have nonstop growth constantly. We were in the longest bull run market until COVID. Do you know when the bull run market started? 2008. Under Obama.
So,
8 years of the 9-year bull run were under Obama.
I guess Obama wasn't really confident in that little bull run of his.
What do you mean?
This is the same guy who said it's going to take a magic wand to fix the economy.
Well, because people measure the economy differently. How the stock market is performing isn't a reflector of how American people are doing. So when we talk about, so when Trump goes on TV, like he just did, and talks about how the NASDAQ's at an all-time high, that's really cool. But we still have over half the country living paycheck to paycheck. We still have 40 million people that missed rent. generally, people in this country are not doing well at all.
Because we have 300 million people, and we have a lot more rich people than some countries.
We have a lot more rich people. That doesn't explain why over half the population lives paycheck to paycheck.
300 million people. Free country. Whatever job you want. Not everyone can make it.
Well, it's not whatever job you want, right?
You can work for it. That's how that works. You work for it. If you don't succeed, you don't succeed. It is whatever job you want. You got to work for it.
So you think
that's how that works.
Do you think there's equality of opportunity in this country?
Yeah, there is. Everyone has the same opportunity. Same exact opportunity.
They don't. No.
Why? Well,
Why?
what makes me different from some, let's say, 16-year-old in New York? What makes me different?
Level of education, I would assume. But generally, I think
like
that,
everywhere, like everywhere in the country, like everywhere in the world, because each places get different education everywhere, no matter where you are.
So, if quality of education is different all over the country, then you would agree, by definition, not everybody is equal in this way. So, equality of opportunity. But you just said
opportunity, we are equal. You have the right to learn everything they did. You have the right to do the research yourself. If your school didn't teach you, you can learn it.
So, when we talk about equality of opportunity, who has more opportunities? A millionaire's son or a crack-addled Sarah who lives under the street and her 10-year-old, crack child on a leash? Who has more opportunity?
They both have the same opportunity. It's just the rich guy gets to it faster. There's a difference between getting to it faster.
So if you get to it faster, you had more opportunity to do so, or you had more means to take advantage of that opportunity? No, you don't have more opportunity.
You have the same exact opportunity. You get to it faster.
You don't see a problem there?
No, I don't, because that millionaire probably worked hard for his money.
What if he didn't?
What do you mean, what if he didn't? What is he a criminal? Does he sell drugs?
No, but I think millionaires,
what counts as not working hard for your money?
Like, inherited wealth, I think, makes up 30% of millionaires. It's not the majority, but inherited wealth does make up a substantial portion.
Does he still have to run a company?
Maybe not, no.
If he inherited, well, what do you mean? If he inherited a company, he still runs it. How many millionaires
I didn't
are
say
actually
he inherited
just lazy
a company.
bums?
I said they inherited money. Well, I assume
they had
some, right?
What did their parent do before them? Were they just some rich royal family? I mean, they inherited a business of some sort.
Why does it matter what their parent did?
Because the parent made them the money, I would assume, or either the grandparent. And
that doesn't mean they had to work for the money.
Yeah. If you're rich, you had to work for it at some point in your life.
That's not
someone
true,
in your family had to.
It doesn't. Why does someone in your family having to work hard, maybe for money, mean that you worked hard by the power of transference?
Yes, the people inherit their riches. Okay. Their ancestors, or even their grandparents, probably worked for that money. Everyone has equal opportunity. Some people get to it faster.
If some people get to it faster, you don't have equality there, right?
It depends on culture. It's a culture thing.
So now it's culture.
It always has been.
We just swapped the argument, big time. What do you mean culture?
I have all the opportunity in the world to do whatever I want. I just have to work for it. That's how that works.
You don't have all the opportunity, though, right?
If I want to run for president, if I work hard enough, I have a chance. It's called opportunity. I can run.
Who has more of a chance? The person who already has a lot of money, who has a lot of connections, or you? I would argue probably the person who has access to a lot more money and has access to a lot more connections.
Because they get to it faster. It's equal opportunity. One person just gets to it faster.
If one person has a much, much, much easier time accomplishing something, how is that equality?
It is. Everyone in this country is equal. Everyone is.
In what
Why
sense?
don't you think? Why don't you think that? Why don't you think we're
legally?
not? Me and you,
Yeah.
are we equal? We're equal.
Legally? Yeah, we're equal.
What do you mean legally?
Well, what do I mean? We have the same rights? Probably.
Yeah, we do. That means we can do. That means I can do everything you can do. If I try hard enough. You gotta work for it.
No.
That's what I was taught. You gotta work for it to get it. Even if you don't get it, you keep trying.
Okay, I'm going to ask you. So, poor people have the exact same opportunity as rich people.
Yeah, if they try hard enough. That's how freedom works.
All right. You can win this point. Let's go back to talking about Trump because we pivoted off that pretty hard. So Trump's economy, a lot of people in the economy are failing or whatever, right? How about this? So you talked about how Trump increased the economy, right? Or whatever, which, cool, whatever that means. What major economic policy did he do to change the trend between him and Obama? Or did the trend stay the same? Or roughly the same after Trump took office?
God damn it. Sorry, I do not know this.
Yeah. Well, then how did Trump increase the economy? That was your argument. How do you not know it?
I'm trying.
You're roboting a little bit, bud.
I'm trying to learn more. I don't know. I don't know much about that.
Well, if you're trying to learn more, why did you claim that Trump increased the economy if you don't know?
I don't know. I looked at the. I mean, I did. I saw him like 20 different times this year. I saw from several different sources that the economy boosted during the time he was in office.
Yeah, but what did he do to boost the economy?
Would one not assume? Would one not assume if several sources can confirm that?
Well,
while he was in office,
it's not whether did the economy increase under Trump. It's what did he do to directly increase the economy, or did the economy continue to ride a wave that was majorly a result of Obama's economic policy? That was the question.
Obama's accidental policy, because it seems like he had no idea what he was doing.
For 8 years? I don't know. Well,
I'm not saying in everything, but I'm not really confident in a guy who says you need a magic wand to fix the economy. That quote just really kind of,
you care about the economy going up unless it was Obama doing it. Obama is responsible for the longest bull run we've ever had in this country.
All right. If he was, he was. I just don't understand why he wasn't confident about it. It seems like he was just...
Because when we talk about the economy, when we talk about just the numbers, like are we growing, are we making more as a country? That could be one thing. Are we doing that overall? Yes. If I talk about the economy from the perspective of its citizens, no, we're doing horribly. Half the country lives paycheck to paycheck.
Half?
Yeah. I think it's
You're
over
telling
half,
me
actually.
150 million people live paycheck to paycheck?
Yes.
They're struggling. 150 people are struggling with money.
More than that. That's just paycheck to paycheck.
I mean...
Oh, I'm sorry. 78% of the... See, I didn't want to overblow it. 78% of the country lives paycheck to paycheck. Go ahead, do your Google, do your .govs, do your whatever you have to do to find that. 78% of the country lives paycheck to paycheck.
I believe it. It's better than them being on food stamps, I can say that.
A lot of them are on food stamps. Well, a lot of people are on food stamps.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I guess until Trump cut that, I guess, yeah. And WIC and things.
Because he wants more people to work. He doesn't want people. He doesn't want the government to take care of people. He wants you to take care of you.
Do you think that 78% of the country isn't working?
What I mean is, you gotta work harder. That's how that works if you want to get more money.
You understand that people can work full-time or multiple jobs and still barely have enough money to pay for basic necessities? You understand that in this country...
My mother can.
In this country, right now, working 40 hours a week at federal minimum wage, you can't afford a one-bedroom apartment. You know that, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I guess down here in Texas, it's different then.
No.
Really? Because I know a lot of people who aren't on food stamps, have crappy jobs, but they still live in a trailer, and they can afford it, and afford to buy all sorts of, not all sorts, but different things.
Are they making federal minimum wage?
I'm not sure. I never asked what any of their paychecks were. I don't
that's
ask
what
my
I
mother
just
is.
said. So why would you disagree with me if you don't know?
It's just a lot of people down here that I know, everyone in this town at least,
In Texas.
there are more people who aren't on food stamps compared to people who are.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I don't want to misrepresent it.
People shouldn't be on food stamps.
Well, some people are, because 78% of the country lives paycheck to paycheck in the richest country on earth. How is that success?
So you want the government to take care of people?
If by take care of people you mean passing policy that benefits the vast majority of the country, then yes.
No. You want the government to keep
having
handing people food stamps. Do you want this, or do you want people to not be on food stamps at all?
I think we should definitely have some robust food stamp programs until we get to a place where people aren't struggling to eat. Yeah.
Never gonna happen.
Well,
unless we get richer and richer. Unless we get richer and richer, there's always going to be the poor, and there's always going to be the rich.
We have enough money in this country to wipe out poverty and homelessness. The problem is,
why don't we do it?
Because we have a distribution problem. Because we have people on the right.
What do you mean, a distribution problem? We could easily distribute a bunch of money to people. It's just that's not good. Don't distribute money to people. That's bad.
Why?
People start to become lazy. People don't start working as hard.
Do you have a source for that? Or is that your feelings?
Oh my god! Do I have a source? Give people money and let's see if they keep working. Let's see how that works out. All that money that could have went to anywhere else. Let's just give people money and see if they start working.
Well, some of that money does go to other places. But yeah, people do work. It's a thing. Believe it or not,
I don't want the government to take care of people.
Believe it or not, there are countries where people can afford to eat, and there are countries where the vast majority of the population doesn't have to worry about living inside. Believe it or not, there are those countries, and guess what? People still work.
I don't think you understand how successful our country actually is.
Successful enough to have 78% of the population living paycheck to paycheck.
We have 300 million people.
Yeah. Correct. Imagine talking about how, almost 200 million people, just half the population.
Sorry, my bad.
No, it's just dude, I don't know.
What about didn't minimum wage go up? Wasn't that a thing?
No, federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Some states have increased their minimum wage to a living wage. Usually progressive states like Oregon and Washington.
There's a reason it's called the minimum wage. There's a reason it's called that. And
because it's not enough to live on?
We should not increase the minimum wage.
Why? The minimum wage has been stagnant for...
Do you know what happens when people start making more money? Prices go up. Prices go up. The more you make, the more you're taxed. Now, obviously, I should have worded that better. Obviously, if it's increased by $1 an hour, you're going to get taxed more, but the tax rate isn't going to change. But what I mean is, corporations are allowed to charge more for their stuff. They're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Companies are allowed to charge more. If they learn every single minimum wage person gets $2 more, it's time to increase prices.
If you think that companies can stay competitive doing that, my argument would be if you could keep your cost of goods low while still maintaining pretty good margins, there'd be no reason to artificially inflate your prices if you're trying to remain competitive. But then again, I'm a globalist. I like global trade and competition. And if you support Trump and his plans, then you're a protectionist. So you don't like that. But
I don't like what? I don't like global trade?
Competition. Yeah, competition and global trade.
I love competition. Competition is what runs this country.
Well, not unless you were competing with
Politicians
China.
competing, businessmen competing. I mean, look at it.
Not unless we're talking about like China, for example. Then you don't like competition because China beats us every time, and then you want to pull.
Oh,
over.
I wonder why. I wonder why a communist country who beats on their people is doing better than us.
They're
with
capitalist.
1 billion working people. I wonder why they're doing better than us.
Firstly, they're capitalist, but
they're
problem
capitalist?
is, yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. Somebody make a note because I'd like to get back to that because we keep pivoting off Trump, but.
Yeah.
I would argue our country generally could be doing better, seeing that we have like 280 million people living paycheck to paycheck in the richest country on earth.
I'm sorry. 280 million people. Most of the country?
Yes, 78% is most. I did the math.
I'm sorry. 280 million people.
Yep. That would be 78%.
Now that I'm realizing what exactly the 78% is, it's kind of a little hard to believe.
Well, look up your .gov resources because you trust
Where'd
the
you
government.
Get it?
Where'd I get this? This is
where'd you
basic
get it?
knowledge. You
Basic knowledge? That doesn't mean anything. Apparently,
you can look it up. Look it up.
Anything can be basic knowledge.
You have the internet. Look it
All
up.
Right.
I don't want to cite some
What do I look
lib-cup
up? I don't want to
source.
look up the wrong thing.
Just look up how many people are living paycheck to paycheck and explore however many sources you want.
Do you understand why I'm questioning you, though? You say basic knowledge.
Why?
That's why I'm questioning
Because I introduced data that you've never even thought to consider. You thought you'd shoot into the dark and you'd have a good argument.
You didn't even get it anywhere. You're just pulling it out of nowhere. What, you heard it from people, or you heard it from an actual source?
Look it up. We can do this. I'm happy to cite you specific sources for any specific thing you ask me after this conversation.
Oh, I would love that. I would love you to cite. I would love you to tell me what to look up. All right.
Just look up what percentage lives paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, son of a bitch. Lives paycheck. Thank you. If you wouldn't have said basic knowledge, and you would have actually given me a source, I would have believed you.
I didn't mean to trigger you, Snowflake. Jesus. Bro, I'm supposed to be the snowflake here. The branding.
Understandable.
Yeah, I wouldn't get... So, now we have data. 78% of the country lives paycheck to paycheck. That's probably not great, right?
We're doing better compared to other countries.
Not in terms of, like, general quality of life. We rank, like, 37, I think.
How are you gonna pull people out of poverty? How do you want to do that?
Redistribution of wealth.
Nah, what do you mean? Okay, I've heard people say this. They mean different things each time. Please tell me what you mean, because I was about to say something, but I'm not sure if that's what you mean. Some people mean the government's money. Some people mean rich people's money.
Well, I guess it's rich people's money that then becomes the government money, which then becomes poor people money, or it could just be rich people money being reduced because there's regulation to pay and treat employees better. So it could be that
They are treated fairly. What are you talking about?
78% lives paycheck to paycheck.
They're treated fairly. That's fair.
Well, I guess it depends on how you define fair.
What do you mean? What do you mean? How do I define fair?
Yeah. So
that is fair. Those the guys who own these corporations, who you want to take their money and give it to people, earned their money.
I would no. I'd vastly prefer them to just change policy in those businesses so their employees are actually paid what their labor is worth. Like on a macro ethereal sense, I guess. Because
what is their labor worth?
Probably a living wage. Probably.
What is that?
It's making enough that you can comfortably live on it.
What is comfortably? A lot of people have different terms for what that means. I live comfortably, even though I live in this crappy trailer. That's comfortable for me.
I would say being able to afford things like healthcare, being able to afford things like education, being able to...
Education is free.
No.
What do you mean?
Not.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? I mean,
How's it not free? Do I not go to school for free? Oh, okay, taxes, right. You pay taxes to fund these schools.
And we should have post-secondary education probably be free as well. Right?
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that. Is that college?
Yeah.
Oh, I can guarantee you're not going to get a decently good professor because a lot of those guys are probably doing it for the cash.
Well,
and if they're not, if they're actually enjoying it,
we don't pay teachers shit in this country, and that we still have plenty of teachers.
I don't think and a high school teacher.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that? There was a
robot screaming. I don't think you know the difference between a college professor and a high school teacher.
Tell me the fundamental difference besides level of education.
All right, hold on. Crap. Annual.
We need to Google this too.
I'm Googling it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Some college professors can make $28,000 a year, all the way up to $210,000 a year, depending on where you work.
Okay.
That is a big difference compared to most, public schools.
Yeah, but if your argument is they do it for money, my argument would be is people are still going to be interested in teaching, and my evidence for that is there are a lot of public school teachers that teach elementary and high school that clearly don't do it for money.
Oh, so yeah, they do. They love teaching. There would still be
college professors, no?
Those teachers love teaching. If they want to be college professors at one point, sure, go ahead.
Well,
but $100,000 a year, just $100,000 a year, just for teaching a couple of morons who are going to get a degree.
I love the anti-intellectualism. I want to roll around in it. These morons
just because you get a college degree doesn't mean you're smart in everything.
I guess it doesn't mean
one subject that you're smart in, like a couple subjects you study.
Well, I'd say you're generally more intelligent than the rest of the population.
That's that college student attitude.
More education leads to being more educated.
More educated than most of the population.
Well, yeah, people with higher levels of education are generally more educated. I would say that's basic knowledge, but you'd get upset.
I got a marine biology degree. Oh, I don't know how to work anything else though.
What do you mean? I don't know where to.
I can't work as a doctor. What do you mean? A doctor would say he knows more than a marine biologist, but a marine biologist would say he knows more than a doctor. Everyone's smart in certain areas.
We're not talking about smart.
Someone who didn't get any education.
We're talking about what is education, right? So somebody who has like a bachelor's in marine biology probably is, well, not even probably, they are more educated than someone who doesn't have any degree, because that's what education is. Somebody who's been to high school is generally more educated than somebody with an elementary school education. See, I like our economy.
What if this high school becomes a mechanic?
That's why.
What if this high school becomes a mechanic, and is the marine biologist still smarter than him?
Smart? Well, again, probably. Well, again, you're using smarter. I would say more educated.
He's smart about fish. He's smart about fish.
He's smart about fish.
The engineer, the car mechanic, is smart about cars. He knows how to build things. This marine biologist knows fish.
So you might not understand until you don't try to go to college. But when you go to college, you don't just like sit down and you learn about being smart at fish, right? That's not like what getting a degree is about. There's general education.
What I'm saying is
there's
you learn about one thing.
College education that goes further past. So like college level English, college level math, anthropology, these things are necessary to every degree. Whether you're a fish smart boy or a surgery smart boy, your smart boyness included college level English, math, this and that, right? Psychology.
I'm a little bean-boozled why you didn't bring that up in the first place.
Well, because most people know that when you go to college, you just don't get fish smart. That's why. Most people know that there are college levels of education required for any type of degree, like college English, college math.
Yeah, and we were implementing a lot of college stuff into high schools.
Which is good, especially considering our high school education lags behind most of the world.
So when does it stop, though, at a
world.
college education? Because if we keep implementing into high schools, when does it really stop?
Well, I'd like to pull our standards up to the rest of the world. A high school education isn't equivalent to a high school education in a lot of other countries because our schools suck and our education generally
300 million people. I think you're underestimating how many people that is compared to
I don't know.
a lot
You're
of
the
countries.
person who argues that 280 million people living paycheck to paycheck isn't really a lot of people. So I don't know if we want to talk about scope because that's not.
I didn't say that. That is a lot of people. I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that. We need to lift people out of poverty, but not by giving them stuff. They have to work for it.
Well,
I want to work for my dream.
So
I don't want the government to hand it to me.
So somebody working, let's say, 2 jobs, 60 hours a week, living paycheck to paycheck, should they just get a third job? Or what if the jobs they already worked paid them enough where they could live comfortably? Huh? What about that? I think that'd be pretty cool.
Why are they working 3 jobs and not focusing on one?
Why? Because their one fucking job doesn't pay them enough to survive. That's why.
Do you know how many people work multiple jobs?
Exactly no.
It's a lot of people. I can understand how you want to give people money, but no, the government should not be giving us stuff like that.
Again, my system isn't just the government hands people more money. Generally, I'd like to see employers take the reins and pay their employees more.
Some places have tried that. And McDonald's is a perfect example. When a few employees tried it, they got replaced immediately by people who wanted those jobs. Or they replaced them with a robot, like a little screen thing. If you want more money, go to a different job. If it still doesn't pay enough...
How do 280 million people just go to another job?
Do you know how many job openings are in America?
Apparently
do you know how many
more than
trade
280
skills? Do you know how many trade
million.
skills are short in America?
Do you think that 280 million people should just become plumbers and mechanics? Because I would argue that's probably unrealistic.
Oh, but it's a good living, though. If they don't like being a fry cook, they can be a plumber who makes way more than a fry cook.
We live in a country where we need to have fry cooks. Someone will always be cooking the fries. Not everyone can be fish smart. Not everybody can have a trade. We still need people to operate the fryers. All I'm saying is people who operate the fryers should probably be able to afford to live. You know? That's it.
Minimum wage.
Minimum wage is not enough to live on. No.
It's not? It's not? Or do you mean it's not enough?
It's not.
I'm pretty sure it is if you know how to conserve your money. Because I see a lot of people who say, oh, minimum wage isn't enough to live on. They have a cigarette in their hand while they're saying it.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Why do a lot of minimum wage employees have booze and cigarettes, and they keep whining saying they don't have enough to live on? Because they're spending on booze and cigarettes.
I'm sorry, a lot of minimum wage employees, do you have a stat for that, or are you just arguing from your feelings again?
I can look it up.
Do you see the problem with having to look up the things that you argue for? I see a lot, from experience, I do see a lot of minimum wage employees who say they don't have enough to make it on, but they got a cigarette in their hand. So everybody you see smoking cigarettes in your Anecdote Andy story, you know their incomes too? That's sick.
No, I don't.
Oh. What if they're making like $100,000 a year and they are just like smoking and living in your trailer park?
Another job, though.
What if they're making $100,000 a year and they just like living in a trailer park and smoking? Did you ask?
That's the exact reason why my father doesn't have his own
place. Or are you using your feelings to argue? I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about you post hoc trying to find something that justifies your point. When I argue things, generally I know them, and that's why I argue. If you're arguing something before you know if it's true, it's useless. I don't care about what you can look up. I care about what you know.
64% of Americans I think, yeah, 60. Oh God, can't talk. My bad. All right. About 20% of American adults and 64% of Caucasian use alcoholic beverages, and drinkers among smokers is just 70%. Much higher than national average.
Okay. So that means all minimum wage people smoke and drink?
No, they make up a good amount of the population. This percentage goes to them.
Well, I don't know, dude. If I don't know, 78% of the population living paycheck to paycheck, I'm sure some smoke and drink. All I'm saying is my argument is there are SpongeBobs in the world and there is Mr. Krabs. All I'm saying is SpongeBob should be able to work at the Krusty Krab and live in a pineapple under the sea. That's it. All right.
Minimum wage. You get what you need, not what you want. That's how minimum wage
doesn't give you what you need because you need healthcare. You need education. You need healthcare and you need education. You can't even get those things on minimum wage. You can't afford college. You can't afford healthcare.
You don't need college. You don't need college.
But you want people to get these better jobs, right?
No. Trade skill. You don't need to go to college for a trade skill. You don't need college to go to trade. Oh my God, you don't need college to get a trade skill.
You think that 280 million people are all going to get a trade skill? You understand that you still
not everyone needs to go to college though. We have too many doctors. We have too many.
You have to pay to go to a trade school, right? They're not free.
Do you know how much it is?
Do you have to pay to go to a trade school? Yes or no?
Yeah, but do you actually know how much it is?
What if somebody can't afford to go to a trade school because 98% of their income is taken up by just existing, living in their shit garbage place and eating.
You can be an assistant to one of these, to a trade, to a guy who's in a trade. You're not only getting paid maybe
people should just be assistants.
You're not only getting paid 40 to 30 grand depending on who you're working for, maybe 20 grand about.
Wow.
You get experience. The school is easy. My uncle didn't even go to a trade school, and he's a mechanic. He got a job on an oil field.
Does he work hard?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. My uncles worked hard to get where they were.
Is he a millionaire?
He works hard. My dad works hard. He didn't get it, sadly. He didn't get where he wanted to be. I'm sorry, what?
Are your dad and uncle millionaires?
No, they don't want to be. My uncles are happy where they are.
Oh, okay. See, I just thought you said earlier that you have to work hard to get a lot of money, and it sounds like your uncle and dad work very hard, but their lives aren't that great.
Not everyone can be millionaires. I never said everyone can be millionaires.
Not everyone can be a mechanic or a plumber either, but hey.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Is what you said.
I said we're short on trade jobs, so why not? Why aren't people getting up and getting those jobs?
Well,
if they hate,
what?
If they hate doing their job, at least hate doing a job that makes money.
More people would probably be incentivized to get a trade if it didn't cost money to go to a trade school. More people would be incentivized.
Do you know how much it actually is?
More people would be incentivized to actually go get a college education if the cost wasn't so
you can be
great.
In debt?
You don't have to be in debt. Right?
Oh, because you got to work hard enough to not be in debt. What about all those people who go to college and don't use their degree for anything? They don't work hard.
Are you saying that people who don't use their degree just don't work hard? Is it possible to work hard but not be using your degree? Here's where I sit. See, you talked about liking the economy earlier. It's part of your backing Trump thing. At the end of the day, my system makes the population more educated with access to healthcare, which is really good for growing an economy because you have a smart and healthy workforce working.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a country that did that?
Is there a country that has ease of access to education and healthcare?
No, is there a country who just gave money out to people?
Do you mean by making education and healthcare free?
Well, you said you want to redistribute the wealth, right?
I want employers to pay their workers more, yeah.
You said redistribute.
Yeah,
You didn't say
redistribute.
you didn't say
That's
you
what
want, you did say
redistribute
you
means.
wanted
It
them to
means
get paid more.
moving things around. Yeah, so if employers redistribute the wealth, they move some of that money from the top more down to their employees.
You could just say you want them to be paid more, because when I hear
That's
redistribute
redistributing
wealth,
the wealth. I'm sorry that you don't understand the terms I'm using. I'll try and use
I'm
simpler
sorry,
terms.
a lot of people who are on the left, when they say redistribute the wealth, I'm usually talking to a person who wants to just hand out money to people.
Someone in my chat says...
You're actually the first person, you're actually the first leftist that I've argued with who's used redistribute the wealth like that.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't talk to more leftists. So somebody in my
Have you
chat
seen
is
my
saying
posts
that
on
trade
Facebook?
schools...
I talk to him every week.
Yeah, I
You
see
see my
that.
posts on Facebook.
Usually when I see somebody embarrassing themselves, I ask if they want to come on the podcast, because then they have no idea what they're talking about and they concede every point to me, like you've done so far.
I embarrassed myself on Facebook.
Oh, you're right. You're doing great.
I have?
Trade schools cost apparently $3,000 to $14,000 a year, according to somebody in my chat. Does that sound right to you? Sound ballpark?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So do you think everyone can afford $3,000 to $14,000 a year who just wants to not work at McDonald's?
I never said that, though.
Well, you said to go get a trade. Why don't they just go get a trade? Do you know how much it costs? You were saying this. Even $3,000 can be quite substantial to somebody only making $14,000, $18,000 a year.
It's also a bit cheaper down here, but
So
I shouldn't say that. But it is a bit cheaper. I do think a lot of people should get trade skills.
Let's say it's $2,000 a year. Just $2,000 a year. That's like half of what the information I received was. Let's say it's $2,000 a year. That cost can be preventative to a lot of people going into a trade, because a lot of people don't have $2,000 a year just for that.
But it's better going to a college that costs more.
Not all colleges cost that much. Community colleges can be actually really cheap. I did community college. Right?
Oh, for the love of God.
Okay, so people should just get more jobs, and people should not ask to, for handouts, or what you're describing as handouts, like being able to eat. Right? That's fine.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, what do you think food stamps
We're not
are
like
for
other
generally?
countries.
Or
We're
WIC
not
is
starving. Our country's not starving.
We do have people starving. Yeah, we do. We have a problem with homelessness.
Well, by your standards, it's really easy to fix. By the way you want to do it.
I don't know.
It's not that easy, though.
It seems like there are a decent number of countries that don't have the problem with homelessness that we do. They don't have the problem with extreme poverty like we do. And there are countries without such a substantial portion of their population living paycheck to paycheck. My question would just be, how did they do it? How do we replicate it? And how do we make our country better as a result? It seems access to education...
most of the European countries?
It seems like access to education and healthcare are massive for this.
You do have education. You have the base education that we provide.
Our high school education is not equivalent to some of those other countries' high school educations, right? A 2-year degree in a lot of other countries is equivalent to, or a 2-year degree in our country is equivalent to a high school education in some others.
What do they learn over in Europe? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the countries you're talking about. They're a bit more above us on the
It's not just about what they learn; it's how they learn it, right? How they.
What do you mean how they learn it?
Do you think
how do they learn it? What's different?
How do you not think there are different ways to teach a subject?
Oh, there are. It's just how are they learning differently? Explain.
So let's take a thing like class size, maybe. Class size might be able to influence how effectively people are being able to learn and how much one-on-one time they're getting with a teacher, right?
Yes, I can agree with this.
I know largely because of funding, we have a problem in this country with class sizes being ridiculous and a lot of people who need special attention not being able to receive it. So somebody who might have learning disabilities might not be able to get the actual interaction with the courses that they need.
A lot of,
or they're taking a disproportionate amount of that teacher's time that then can't be distributed amongst their insanely large class size.
A good amount of
Only
schools
so
here in
much time in
Texas
a
do
day.
have classes for, people with learning disabilities. We do have classes for them.
Okay.
Why is it that Texas has that, but apparently, I'm thinking a lot of other places don't have that. Why?
Well, just because they have classes,
Texas has that.
it doesn't mean they're great, right?
No, they are. They're really
Oh,
great.
they
I've
are.
seen a lot of kids with learning disabilities do way better than me. And yet again, I really didn't try, but now I am. I was lazy. Back in 9th grade. Now I'm actually trying. But a lot of these kids with learning disabilities are actually getting really good attention. They're learning. They're doing a lot better than most of the kids in the high school.
How big is your school?
I don't know, 1,300. Nope. Above 1,000. It's above 1,000. I can't remember the exact number.
That's fine. Is that K through 12? Is that 7 through 12? What is that?
Oh no, that's high school.
Okay, so I don't know how you distribute things in your in your district.
It's easy. You have a learning disability, you go in the class. That's it.
No, is high school, is your like above 1,000 people 7 through 12 or 9 through 12?
Oh no, the high school is 12.
Okay.
Middle schools are 6th through 8th, and elementaries are 1 through 5th.
All right, so let's do some anecdotes for a minute. So I went to school in the least populated state in the United States. I went to a small town in that least populated state in the United States. My school size, 7 through 12, was 180 people. We set a record in my school for the largest graduating class of 32 people. My question is, what students are generally receiving more direct instruction and more help from the teacher? The class with only 10 kids in it at a time, or the class with 50?
We don't have classes with kids of 50. Max is like 30.
Okay, so let's say 30. Who's getting more one-on-one time and direct help from teachers? My class size of 10 or your class size of 30?
Your class size of 10, but we can just ask and the teacher will go one-on-one with us.
The problem is, if all those 30 people just ask, you're fucked.
We have tutoring.
So we have to keep adding. So more education. Tutoring, yes. Specific classes, yes. All I'm saying is better education. Generally good, creates a better workforce. The higher level of the education
It also depends on the people.
The higher level of education of your citizenry, the less crime and less poverty you have. All I'm advocating for is, hey, let's give people easy, free access to trade schools and normal college, and that would be better for our country. How am I going to pay for it? I'm going to tax people, of course.
Oh, of course. What's the tax rate going to be, please? If you would tell me. For everyone? For everyone or just for one person? Because, that's kind of unfair. And by unfair, I mean that's not being equal.
Really?
Even though they're richer, they're still equal.
Well, really, yeah, so I think Elizabeth Warren, she had a specific policy I was kind of into. It's any income over $50 million a year gets taxed an additional 2%. And that would completely fund higher education.
Okay.
So every dollar an individual makes...
I don't think she's done the math.
No.
I don't think she's done the math for how much colleges charge.
You can go look at the policy. That's all I can say. Go look at the policy.
She's a moron. I'm not going to... Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I try to see the leftist views. I try to see left views. Elizabeth Warren, I've read some stuff about her. I should read more about her. I don't care what you
think about Elizabeth Warren. I care about the policy that I'm talking about. Address that. I don't care how the fuck you feel about Elizabeth Warren. I don't care about that. What I'm talking about is the policy is every dollar made by an individual over $50 million a year gets charged an additional 2%. That's 2 cents.
How many people are that?
How many people are that? It's
How many people actually make $50 million a year?
Not many.
And that's going to pay for college. Even if you grab their $50 million a year, that's not going to pay for all the colleges.
We're not taking their $50 million a year. We're charging 2% on every dollar earned after $50 million.
Oh, so what you're saying is it's really not going to pay for the colleges then?
No, it
Because
does.
even if you grab all the people who do make that money, if you grab all of their money, it's not going to pay for it.
If you tax 2% over 50 million for every dollar made, it does completely pay for education in this country. At least
You
from
went
my
to a community
understanding.
college, right?
Yeah.
It was cheap. Obviously, it's cheap compared to a normal college.
I don't know. It was actually really hard. I just got my college loans paid off, and it was really hard for a while.
Okay.
Really, I
If we
didn't.
Sorry.
It was rough for a while, and that was community
We-
college. But I didn't work hard.
You have to
enough
pay
for
the
it, so I don't
teachers.
know.
You got to pay the teachers.
Yeah.
You got to pay for the books. You got to
Yep.
pay for a lot of other stuff. Their money isn't going to
Correct.
pay for every single college in America. We don't.
Well,
that's
Guess what? Disagree with that because you haven't looked at it. Clearly, you've said you haven't looked at it. You have no fucking clue. You're arguing from your feelings. I don't
Really?
give a fuck about your feelings. I don't care about how you feel about something.
these aren't my feelings. I'm generally saying anyone with a brain can tell. Not even $50 million a year given to the colleges. Not even
We're
that
not
can pay
talking
for every
about
single
50
college in
million.
America.
We're talking about.
Oh no, I know.
If somebody
but that
makes
2%, that 2% is less. What I'm saying is, even if you grab that 50 million, it's still not going to be enough.
It does. Go disagree
Really?
with the policy. Yeah, they have everything on it. You can go disagree with that.
They did the math. How many colleges are in America?
I don't have the exact number for you.
There's a crap ton in Texas, and I would assume there's a way lot more in other states. Maybe not a lot. Texas is pretty big, but there's a lot of colleges.
Do you know what a logical fallacy is? Do you know? Kind of roboting out, but I'll give you a second.
Sorry. Am I good?
Yeah, I think so. You know what a logical fallacy is?
No, I do not.
Okay, I'm decided I'm going to start calling you on them. What you're engaging in right now is called an argument from ignorance, right? Or an argument from consequences. Because you can't imagine something, that doesn't mean it's not possible or doesn't exist. So, because Lot's college, though, can't make so many fish smart, just because you think that doesn't mean it's true, right? So,
4,200 students alone are in America. That's also following the public colleges, which is 1,626. 100,687 private nonprofit schools and 985 for-profit schools.
Okay.
You're telling me you're going to tax a guy who makes above $50 million a year 2%, and that's going to pay for all of these? That's going to pay for all of these?
That seems to be what the policy they put out was, and it seemed like the math was sound.
Do you know how many professors are on each campus? Have you done that math?
Dude, you can look at the policy. The policy wasn't controversial because the math was wrong. The policy was controversial because people like you were like, but the tax, though. I don't want people that make over 50 million to pay more taxes.
I didn't say that.
That's why the policy was unpopular, not because of bad math.
No, the math is also stupid.
You can go disagree with them afterwards, okay? If you want to look at it and come talk to me later about it, you've never looked at this. You're just saying, but I think there's a lot of colleges, and I don't think there's much more than...
No, I don't think. I know there's a lot of colleges, and I know in all these 4,000 institutions, these college professors make like 90 grand a year and above. You're telling me 2% tax rate on a guy who makes $50 million is going to help pay for all these college professors'
Not a 2%
wages?
tax rate on people who make $50 million. An additional 2% taken out of every dollar made past the 50 million mark. You can go disagree with the policy, but since you haven't read it, you haven't looked at goddamn anything, and you're just arguing me from your feelings and how you feel about things, I don't give a fuck what
Even if
you
I
have to
do
talk
read,
about.
I'm not arguing from my feelings. I'm arguing from the straight facts that the math here is stupid.
Okay, since you're arguing from the straight facts, how much revenue is generated from taxing over 50 million % on, or over 2% on people who make 50 million? What's that exact number, mister? I did the math and I know what I'm talking about.
I didn't do the math, but anyone with a brain can tell. All right.
I didn't do
how
the
much
math.
Is, I want you to tell me how much
it
is. Just tell me. Just tell me then.
It doesn't matter. I don't have the actual policy in front of me. I'm saying you
so
can
why'd you ask me? Why would you ask me that if you don't know it?
Why? Because I don't know the exact numbers. Doesn't mean I'm unaware of the policy or its implications, right?
I thought the policy would have told you that. Would that not have made sense?
I'm sorry I didn't memorize the entire policy. I have to hold a lot more information than you, because generally I have to know what I'm talking about.
That's an important policy, though. That's an important policy that you brought up, though.
And I told you
the
specifics of 2% over everyone who makes $50 million and paying for education. This isn't controversial that it could do so.
Because not even all of their income combined can pay for the colleges.
Well, it can, because 2% after every dollar after $50 million would be used to pay for it.
How much do you think it costs to pay for teachers, books, the building itself?
Dude,
how much do you think it costs to pay for all that?
Because you don't understand something doesn't mean it's impossible, right? Can we at least agree on that?
What do you mean? I understand it. The math is stupid.
You haven't.
If we had the money, sure, go ahead and do it. We don't, though.
Well,
we don't have the money.
That's what would make the money. That's what would get the funds to pay for it. Is taxing 2% past every dollar past $50 million. What happens if we run out of money?
Yeah.
Okay.
For that specific thing, we're not going to run out of money. We're not going to run out of money.
So I guess under the
but we will for that. I can guarantee we will for that.
Well, you don't run out of money unless you just have people stop making over $50 million a year. Which
what if they do that? What if there are the guys who've done that?
Then
what if they decide to do that?
Let's pretend in this country nobody will make over $50 million a year. A, sick. B, I guess we'll have to reevaluate how we pay for education. But it'll be much easier to do so because we have a much healthier and a much more educated population.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I never said that.
And a wider tax base.
I said... So. I'm sorry. I thought you were done talking. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
All right, my bad. With the money we're trying to collect, are we saving it up? Is that also the policy says? Are we saving it up, or are we immediately
spending it on education? That's what it would be.
Oh, so we're immediately spending it, so we don't have enough to pay for all the colleges, institutions that I just named.
How do you think taxes work? I'm curious.
How do I think taxes work?
Yeah, do you think that when we started taxing... Do you think when we stared taxing people in this, or when people tax in other countries, that they had to save up a pool of money and then we were allowed to spend it? Or do you think that we have taxes coming in and money going out at the same time?
Fuck. It doesn't matter how much money keeps coming in. It's not going to pay for all those colleges. I know a guy who did the math.
You don't think I know a guy who did that? You never even heard of this policy before 20 minutes ago because you don't know anything.
I hear about people bitching about it on the news, though. There are plenty of people who bitch about free college
policy on the news. Yeah, we do need free college in this country. That's a fact.
No, we don't.
We do, yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Just so people can just go there. They don't have to pay for anything. They just sit there, do whatever, read. They end up learning, sure. They get free degrees. They get free degrees, but what does that do?
What does it do? It increases the general intelligence and education of your entire workforce. It makes your population more able to compete in a global market. That's what it does.
We can't pay for it, though. I'm not saying it. I never said it wasn't impossible.
We have... That's one way to pay for it. We could pay for it a ton of other ways.
You don't even know how much money we're going to be bringing in.
No, I don't know the exact amount.
With what I saw, this guy even did the math. He had a group of guys do it. You would need somewhere around $1 trillion or so dollars. Even above that, actually. Can all that equal up to $1 trillion? Is that how that works?
$1 trillion a year or $1 trillion over a decade? Because no.
No, you would need $1 trillion. You need $1 trillion to pay for all those colleges.
$1 trillion a year or $1 trillion over a decade?
Probably within the span of a decade.
No. Oh, yeah, over the span of a decade, $1 trillion is nothing.
These guys are going to give us, the tax rate anyways, is going to give us a couple $100 billion a year.
One of the ways that I would this will get you really upset. One of the ways I would prefer to pay for our college, I think we could completely make all college and trade schools free if we cut our military budget and just transfer the funds. If we just cut our military budget by 40%, I'd be willing to do that over a decade.
Why?
And that could... Why? Because
Why would you cut our military budget?
Why? Because defending a country of the sick and stupid isn't exactly what I think it makes, good expenditure, right?
Do you love our country? Do you love it?
I love the people in it. I don't so much care for the concept of a country, but sure.
You have the freedom to move then.
Okay. I want to make this
I don't want to
country
be that
better.
guy, but all I'm saying is,
remember how the
if
founding
we're going to
fathers,
spend military budget on a bunch of
if the founding
whiny
fathers
college,
didn't like the country, they should have left. Why did they stay?
They love their country. That's why they fought for
it. Make things better. Disgusting. Un-American. I say move. What are you talking about?
Okay. So we're giving 40% of our military's budget to a bunch of whiny brats who want a free college degree, but we're not giving it to the homeless vets?
Dude, that anti-intellectualism is amazing. Well, under my system,
we have homeless vets on the street.
Under my system,
I'm seriously getting offended now.
Homelessness wouldn't be a problem for homeless vets.
Really?
To crack out
a bunch of old guys are going to go to college and try to learn stuff they don't want to know? Have you actually met? Have you met that many veterans?
We can have government policy and safety nets that make it so homeless people can afford to, not be homeless.
Afford? They can't afford anything. They're homeless. They don't have a job.
If we have safety nets, we actually can have, public welfare. That's fine.
You want to give homeless people money? Or am I misinterpreting that?
No, I'd rather have homeless vets just sit outside and fucking, I don't know, try and photosynthesize to feed their empty goddamn stomachs. I'd rather have homeless people just photosynthesize. You want to give homeless people money? Homeless veterans?
You want to get 40% of our military's money to a bunch of spoiled brats here, all right?
Well,
but you don't want to give it to the homeless vets.
What I would do is I would cut the military budget by 40% over a decade, and there's a lot of reasons for that, not just education. But I would do that, and then, we would fund education. Student debt wouldn't exist.
The veterans don't deserve that, though. These soldiers don't deserve to have their budget cut.
They don't exist. Well, why do we need our military?
They're fighting for our country. They fight for something they believe in, and you want to cut their budget?
What are they fighting for right now? Please tell me. Please tell me Please tell me what freedoms the United States has protected with the military in the last 40 years, 60 years, 100 years.
What are you talking about? 100 years?
War. Yeah.
We fought in other wars, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. What did the Vietnam
tyrants? Didn't we stop tyrants? Wasn't Hitler a tyrant? I'm pretty sure World War I, we were still trying to stop tyrants. The Civil War? Those were rebels. The Americans won.
I said the Civil War, but let's talk about, if you want to talk about like World War II, if you want to talk to historians, even if the U.S. never got involved, we absolutely, or by we I mean I guess the Western world would have absolutely, like Hitler wasn't really a threat. To the degree that they had spread their resources to get to the point they were, no historian believes the Third Reich could have made it more than a year or two. They were done. Period. Whether the U.S. got involved or not. So that's not a very good example.
Okay.
And I'm only taking historians.
We were still fighting for freedom, weren't we? We technically were.
Freedom. Dude, I don't want to spend all of our money for the idea of freedom. I would rather spend my money on having an educated and healthy and happy population. What?
So you want the government to tell you what to do? You want the government to tell you where to live? Because if you give them a place to live, the government's telling you where to live.
You're right. It's better. All the veterans should just be allowed to choose which street they sleep on. You're right. That's better.
This is coming from the guy who wants to give 40% of our brave soldiers who die, get their limbs blown up.
You to give our brave soldiers money away to who? The homeless veterans? You monster. You realize how...
You don't even want to give 40% of it to the homeless veterans. You want to give it to a bunch of college kids.
Well, I don't want to give it to anybody. I want to subsidize education so anybody who chooses to
my
pursue
bad.
it
You're giving it to the colleges so the kids can get free education. And what is that going to do?
Well, not just kids, anybody, but yeah.
My bad. A bunch of 20-year-olds or people who just want to try college again, see how it is.
Believe it or not, a lot of people actually go to college when they're 30 or 40. I don't know if you know that. I know you've never been near a college campus, so you don't catch like the gay communist or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe if you drive by one on the way to your trade, you'll see that, there are more than 18-year-olds there. I don't know.
My guy, come on. I learned to respect the soldiers. They're actually fighting
so did
in
I.
what they believe in.
My dad
You're fighting for what?
served for
You're sitting
25
online arguing with
years.
strangers.
My dad served
Fighting
for
for
25
what?
years, and he served 2 tours, and he agrees with me completely. A senior master sergeant in the Air Force. He's retired now. He agrees with everything I say on this subject. Because guess what?
Are you actually doing anything?
Can you repeat
Besides arguing with people online? Are you actually doing anything?
Yeah, I'm
Or is
laughing
that
at you.
guy doing things? Or is that guy doing things? Or
My
you?
dad? He's retired, I guess. Who are you talking about specifically? Or are we talking about
You,
some
are you
random
actually
shit now?
doing anything to help?
Help what?
You know,
Help
what
what?
you believe in.
Well, advocating for what I believe in is actually really good. It's really good when I can talk to somebody and I can show all the errors in how they think. So people like you who hold this position or that position, if I can have a conversation with somebody like that, and I'm like, they're wrong at this, they're wrong at this, they're wrong at this, and somebody who might agree with them, who's a little more open to being like, hey, holy shit, I believed a lot of stupid shit with no evidence, and all I had was my feelings. If I can get one person to reevaluate their position and possibly change it because they realize they've done what you've been doing most of this conversation, that positively affects what I advocate for, because then they are free to advocate for my beliefs. The more people who believe and support what I believe in, the more that it happens, right? You know, all these bad ideas like, hey, maybe more education and healthcare, or hey, maybe people should be able to afford to live inside. And
It's not a bad idea, it's a fantasy.
no.
Not only a fantasy, it's a bad fantasy that you sound like you're being a nice guy. You sound like you want to. No, you do want to be a nice guy. You do want to help people, but it's not going to help in the long run.
Why?
It's not.
Why would having a more educated and a more healthy workforce not help us?
Why would defunding the military help us?
How? Well, it doesn't seem like the military, like as a concept, like having such a large standing army is useful in any way at all.
We need it.
For what?
We need it.
What do we need it for?
We got a psychopath in North Korea with nukes.
Well, firstly, he doesn't have... Do you know what soft power is?
Go ahead.
So what soft power is a nation's ability to get other nations to do what it wants or go along with it without the use of military force. So our State Department is our biggest source of soft power, something Trump defunded, by the way. But it's being able to resolve things diplomatically. It's not necessarily who has the biggest stick, but who has the best power to negotiate. China, for example, is rapidly on its way to being the ultimate world superpower. And guess what? They don't even need a fraction of our military expenditure. Do you realize that we spend more than the next 18 highest spending countries combined? The U.S. spends more on its military than the next 18 highest spending countries. And guess what?
And I hope we do.
Why? For what reason?
You're not afraid of war? Are you not afraid of war?
No.
Do you just think war has been eradicated forever?
What do you mean war? What wars have we gotten?
War.
What wars have we gotten involved in that we didn't have to be in the last 50 years, 60 years?
We got involved for a reason. I can tell you why we got involved in Vietnam.
What reason? Please. Let's see if you actually know this.
We were trying to spread democracy. That's what we were trying to do.
No, it wasn't to spread democracy. It was to fight the idea of communism and the Red Scare.
Exactly.
Which, by the way,
we were gonna put democracy there. We were gonna do something, capitalism, something. We were gonna get rid of communism and place it there because communism's bad. That's one of the reasons we did it.
Communism bad. The Red Scare.
Why is it good?
No, it's just the Red Scare. It's like the the fact that you think that America should go inject itself and murder people because we feel like we can, that's fucked up.
We didn't start it. What do you mean? It was a civil war in Vietnam. It was a civil war in Vietnam.
You should sometime, next time you have the chance to go to Vietnam and talk to the people there and explore their culture and explore their history, you'll find out that they do not view the war like we view the war. It's not even the Vietnam War there. It's the American War, and it was us. It's American imperialism. That's all it is, and it's bad. Guess what? we don't have the right to go swinging our dick into other countries that don't want us
Other
there.
countries don't have the right either. Other countries do it all the time.
What other countries
Not all
are
the time. I should've
invading
said that.
America to
Should've said
kill
that.
Americans because they disagree with how we do things? What other countries are doing that, please?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You cut out. What?
What other countries are invading America and killing Americans because they don't like the way we do things? When was the last time America had a land or sea invasion? Please. Sorry?
I mean, that was in the 1800s, but technically Japan.
Japan didn't do a land or sea invasion of us.
Oh, you're right. They bombed it. They bombed Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Oh, you know I guess you know, were the Twin Towers? Do those not count? Or is that not an? I guess that's not an invasion technically. It's just blowing shit up.
Why did Pearl Harbor get bombed?
I don't know the entire reason.
Why do
I've been told many things.
You
I
don't know anything
what to
about.
believe.
Stop bringing up stuff you don't know.
Fine. Why did they bomb us if you know it? Why did they bomb us?
Why did they bomb us? Because they were afraid of the U.S.'s involvement. Japan was involved.
Really?
Japan was in.
They were afraid of us, so they got us involved.
Well, they didn't get us involved. They chose to do that to deter our involvement. It's because when they were fucking around in the Pacific Theater, we had an insane navy nearby, and they just tried to keep us out of it. However, I don't think bombing Pearl
murdering
Harbor...
Americans? Yeah, let's
Don't
keep
cry
it.
to me
That
about
wasn't diplomatic
murdering
at all. That was
Americans.
blowing shit up.
Okay. That's
Taking
okay.
human life is wrong.
Unless it's America,
I understand that.
and you want to go to Vietnam and shoot Vietnamese people, then it's okay in your view. What?
Oh my god! It was a war. People die in wars. It's still
started
wrong
a
though,
war.
but we picked a side. We didn't invade Vietnam. We helped a side. There was a civil war in Vietnam.
Why do we have to
Did you know
inject
that?
ourselves into other countries' conflicts?
Huh?
Why do
I didn't hear you.
Why do we have to insert ourselves in other countries' conflicts? I would argue we shouldn't.
We want.
Get ready in the dishwasher. Just saying.
I don't
We like to
care.
solve world problems. What's wrong with that?
Why? Because we have 78% of our population living not well. Right? I want to focus on my country before I focus on everyone else's. When shit isn't fucked up here, once shit isn't fucked up here, I don't care where we spend money. I could give a fuck
Alright,
less.
so that's said that. We shouldn't focus on illegal immigrants then.
What's my position on illegal immigrants?
Well, since you said that, you focus on our country first.
Yeah.
That means we shouldn't focus on illegal immigrants, correct?
So what I think we should do is we should decriminalize. We should decriminalize crossing the border. We should take down detention facilities, and we should put up places we can integrate people. We should take more immigrants. Yeah. Because I want to focus on our country.
It's just they should come here legally. Trump doesn't hate immigrants.
He does.
He hates illegal immigrants.
No, he hates immigrants, period. So here's another thing.
Really?
Here's the thing.
All right. Do you have
Dude,
any
here's
proof
the
that he
thing.
said that? Do you have
Here's
any
the
proof
thing.
that he said that?
Can you, hey, be quiet for a minute? I get it. You're upset, but you're about to get hit with logic that I called. Voxy, maybe you'll remember 2.5 hours ago when I said this dude doesn't know shit about anything. He's gonna get fucked because we're gonna talk about something that he's not gonna have researched at all. Immigration is it, baby. I'm here for it. Trump doesn't like legal immigrants. You wanna know how I know that? Because he cut legal immigration by 59% and wants to cut it more. You wanna know how take one Google. I'll wait. He cut legal immigration by 59%, and they're anticipating to do it more. Actually, economists right now are pissed off at him because it's going to slow our recovery from COVID, because immigrants are an economic boon to us, illegal and legal. They're insanely good for our economy. Insanely good for our economy.
You know,
feel free to look up the Oxford paper with four major economists that just came out talking about our slowed recovery from COVID. Feel free to look it up.
And
feel free
even
to look up
CNN says...
Feel free to look up right-winging economists like Borjas who agree with me that immigrants are an economic boon to our country.
What?
Illegal and legal. If you care about the economy, you care about growth, and you care about improving the country, what we need is more people. Bring them in here.
And this is
Make
coming
them
from the
pay
guy
taxes.
who says, you know, we need to grab all the rich guy. We need to increase the taxes on the rich man and make more money for all these students. More equal money. Rich man can't pay for schools anymore. Oh, we can't pay for schools. Start paying for them again. Now, I'm looking at all these websites. CNN, first thing to pop up. Only cut illegal immigration. I also look at this one. Trump attacks on legal immigration. This one says Trump cuts illegal immigration. A bunch of these are saying illegal.
Look at, feel free to, I think Forbes just posted a thing, and I'm pretty sure they cite the, here, I'll take a look too. Trump, look up 50%. 50 legal.
All right.
I don't know what sites are, I don't know what sites are all too, I don't know what sites are all, like, bad for you, like, too libcucky.
I don't even like getting my stuff from Fox.
You
My
like,
bad. All right.
Sorry, what? What'd you say?
I don't like getting my stuff from news sources. Mainly, I don't like Fox and CNN are very, very on one side. I don't like getting my stuff from them.
Yeah, neither do I.
All right.
So Forbes just had one about how we cut. I don't know if Forbes is too libcuck for you.
I'll read it.
There's some others. Yeah, I it's just, again, we come to a thing where I bring up a thing and you're like, oh, do you have facts? And it's like, well, yeah. And then it's like, oh, well, you're right then. Fuck, maybe I shouldn't have argued against something I've never even cared to look up. What's your problem with immigrants? I'm absolutely fine with bringing in more immigrants. We need to. We should all 11 million illegals here currently, we should probably give amnesty. Again, I'm arguing from the economist side because I like our economy. I like to grow. I like to grow our tax base. We can produce more money to pay for more services.
Should other countries
Sorry, please. You're roboting.
I'm sorry. Should other countries have open borders?
Who said anything about open borders? Some countries do, but yeah.
Okay, similar to the United States that you want. Should other countries have that?
Well, the United States that I want still has a vetting process, and it's about getting people tax IDs. So open borders would be something more like the European Union, where you have completely free travel across anywhere, and you can work anywhere you want. I don't want...
All right, thank you.
We still
I'm
have
glad
a level
you used that
of
word
vetting.
correctly.
What word?
I hear a lot of people say U.S. should have open borders, and you know.
Yeah, I hear
when
people
I think
like
of open
Trump
borders,
say
I just
that,
mean
and
you can just come
Republicans
in.
who are stupid as fuck. Yeah, because guess what? No
I
Democratic
hear
candidate.
A lot of leftists say that mainly.
Democratic candidate has ever advocated for open borders, but but Republicans have been saying that we've advocated for it.
Well, you guys, maybe your politicians haven't, but a lot of protests advocate that. That's why we assume that, because a lot of your protests do. You know, the protests with the open border signs. That's why we advocate that.
You guys have a lot of people who aren't politicians who want an ethno-state and want to eliminate black and gay people, but I don't think all Republicans want to do that shit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that's a weird.
I'm not assuming all leftists are like this, but I'm also. We both have morons on each other's sides.
So here's the question. What's wrong with increasing our immigration? What's wrong with being like, hey, you want to come here and work? Get your ass in here, get your ass a tax ID, and fucking work, dog. Time to get in the fields, time to get in the kitchens and get that shit going.
Should they have to learn English? Because I think they should.
Should they have to learn English? Yeah, they should probably learn the trade language, but it's not a requirement to get in the country, no.
I think it should.
Why?
Oh, okay, I guess other countries should do that. You know, over in let's say Russia. Should they just have English signs everywhere? Mandarin signs? No, those are really just common spoken languages. They do?
They do, yeah.
They have Mandarin and
Yeah.
English.
Mandarin is the most spoken language on Earth. In a lot of like population hubs, you'll often see things written in multiple languages. Even in the United States, we write a lot of things in Mandarin in central hubs because Mandarin is the most spoken language in the world. So yeah, it's good to have that. And guess what? People can come to this country.
Do they have German over in Russia? Like German signs?
Probably in certain parts.
Certain parts. You should be required to speak English.
How about this?
You should be
in the United. How about this?
Languages.
How about this? If your problem is putting up signs, can you think of things in the United States that we write in both Spanish and English?
I guess. Oh God, what do you call it?
You understand
Tags,
that we put like all in.
God.
You understand that we put like all instructions in Spanish and English? You understand we do these kind of things?
And I hate that. I hate that.
Why?
You should learn English.
I agree you should, but not as a prerequisite to come into the country.
Oh my God.
You like anecdotes and one-offs. Do you think we can find a really good example of somebody who came to the country not speaking English and has made a massive positive impact on America as a whole? Because I would argue a lot of people have come to this country not speaking English, but have still benefited our country greatly. A lot of business owners, some don't speak English.
They're criminals, though. Illegal immigrants are criminals. I'm not saying they act like it, but legally they broke the law, therefore they are criminals.
Do you know the
There's a
difference
reason we
between
have borders. There's a reason we have a lot of border laws.
Do you know the difference between a prescriptive and a descriptive statement?
Okay, so if we're going to keep getting immigrants...
prescription is how we should change things. So when I say we should decriminalize border crossing, I addressed that already. You just forgot.
Fine, if we're going to have more immigrants come in,
yeah.
Should we have that free education thing you wanted? Or do we not need that for that?
Yeah, we should.
So we need both. We need both. For the we need the free education thing for the immigration thing to work. Because if more immigrants come in, you know, they are going to be getting a lot of jobs, but the more and more that come in, the less jobs there are going to be and the less people that are going to get work.
No, because
so we kind of need the free education thing, right?
Because jobs don't just stay at a set place when your population increases. More goods and services are needed to take care of your increasing population. So as your population increases, your goods and services have to rise with it. Job creation is a big thing. In fact, immigrants create a fuckload of jobs in this country.
Do you know what a lot of immigrants are?
A lot of people who immigrate here usually have the means to do well.
Race-wise, I meant. Like, race-wise. Do you know who a lot of them are?
Yeah, I think our biggest contributor to illegal immigration is actually Canadians who overstay visas.
All right, yeah.
Border crossings don't make up the majority. And guess what? If those Canadians want to get tax IDs and work under our system, let them fucking do it. That's my argument. Let them work. People want to come in here and work. Give them a tax ID. Let those motherfuckers pay taxes and get their ass
Does that
to
mean
work.
Does that mean they classify as a U.S. citizen?
I think we should have a much easier path to citizenship, and we should grant amnesty to the 11 million illegals currently in our country. 11 to 14 million, however many.
I say they go through the process that they should have went through. And, if they don't want to do that, then
you keep talking about legal, you keep talking about, but the legal immigration, though. We just cut legal immigration by 50%, over 50%. And we're planning on cutting it more.
I also don't like arguing with people who support immigration and also call our country crap.
Because they have facts?
Is our country crap? Is our country crap?
Not because of immigrants.
No, I didn't say that. Is our country crap? Do you think
Well, I guess it depends. I guess it depends how you do that. In a lot of aspects, yes. In some aspects,
because I remember you saying our country's crap, but why do so many people want to come here?
Well, we tend to have some of the best markets, and we have a couple of the best colleges in the world.
Oh, but we're such crap. We are crap. Well, if that's what you think, that's what you told me. Unless I misheard you.
78% of the population living to paycheck, I think, is crap. It's not. But
why do people want to keep coming here if they know what they're getting into? Or are they just coming over here with a false sense of hope?
A lot of the people.
If so, why don't they go back?
A lot of the people.
They easily could.
A lot of the people that immigrate here are usually extremely wealthy. A lot of people immigrating from like Asia or Africa or Europe are
illegally.
No, you said immigrating here. Stop switching your argument.
With money. I'm talking about the poor people who move here.
Yeah, let's talk about
if this
before people
country's
move
so
here. Let's stay on
crap,
that.
why do they move here?
Because it's better than their shit country.
Oh, all right. So all the immigrants who come over here, their countries are crap.
Not all of them. A lot of the illegal ones, probably. Yeah. If we're
So
talking
Canada,
about Mexico,
crap.
we're talking about Mexico.
No, is Canada crap? Because you said a majority are Canadians actually who overstay their visa.
Yeah, who overstay their visas. No,
So
probably
Canada's
not.
crap.
No, probably not.
In
They're comparable
fact,
to the US.
I think, in fact, don't a lot of Canadians come over here because of that free healthcare bullcrap they have?
No.
They gotta wait a while, just get maybe a surgery, so they come over here?
Elective surgeries. Extremely wealthy
Why don't they have that in
Canadians.
their country? That means
don't they have
Canada and
what?
Mexico are crap.
Do you know what an elective surgery is that you have to wait for? Do you know what elective means? It means it can be put off. It isn't life-threatening. You understand that healthcare being so prohibitively expensive for most Americans do it leads to a lot of people not actually seeking help for medical issues?
So I'm assuming free
understand?
healthcare has nothing to do with Canada being crap?
No. Actually, I think
Really?
Canadians...
Because you think Canada's crap? Because you say it's better than their shitty countries, therefore you're claiming Canada's
Canada's
crap.
better in a couple of aspects, but I don't think their country's crap.
So it's not
pretty
crap,
comparable
because
to
they're
the
better in
United
some
States.
aspects. So Mexico is not crap. It's better in some aspects.
In a couple aspects, yeah.
So America's not crap then, because
Generally,
we're better in some aspects. That's your logic, even though you said America's crap.
No. So when I say America's crap, something you don't seem to understand is it's not very good for general workers, with 78% of the population living paycheck to paycheck.
Then why do so many poor people come over here to get jobs? Really poor jobs. That's
tell you-
minimum wage.
Why?
If
A
it's
lot of-
such crap.
A lot of people don't come over here to make minimum wage, but there is something pretty cool about like somebody who can come here and make $2 they'll just make $2 and their life is horrible compared to like regular American standards. They're coming over and they're
So why do
willing
they
to
come
do
over here
that
if it's such crap? They could
Because
easily go
it's
to Border
safer
Patrol and get kidnapped in their better country.
because it's I didn't. What are you talking about? You sound very upset. At the end of the day,
I am, because you're
Our
not
quality
really
of life
you call our
improves-
country crap, but then you say people want to move here. What? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. It really doesn't. I see a lot of people say,
okay.
I've met a
Steelman-
few Mexicans who say their parents came over here.
It's
Like
time to
Mexicans at my high school, they came over here legally because this country's better.
It's time.
in way more
it's
ways than
time to
Mexico.
steelman my argument. What makes this country crap? What aspect am I referring to?
You referred to the fact that we don't have free free education. Sorry.
That's an aspect, but I wouldn't say that's what makes our country crap. No.
All right, what'd you say then?
Again, I think it affects workers. Having 78% of our population living paycheck to paycheck is garbage in the richest country on earth.
Okay,
I would say it's
so why
unacceptable.
do people come over here? Because a lot of the poor immigrants get those jobs. Why do they come over here for such a crappy life that you say everyone has?
It's a crappy life for being in the richest country on earth. It's better than being in not the richest country on earth.
So it is a good life, just for the richest country.
A
It's
good
crap.
life?
So it is a good life.
By
then.
if you think a good life is not knowing where you're going to sleep or eat,
What is American
that's
standards? Well, what is American standards for a good
apparently
life?
living paycheck to paycheck is
Opinion.
fine.
That is an opinion thing. I'm living a good life.
Maybe.
Some rich people aren't living good lives. A couple of guys who overdose because they have depression. They're not living good lives, but they're rich. It's an opinion. Having a good life.
Why are we ranked in, I think we're ranked number 37 for best countries to live
13.
in. Oh, sorry.
13.
Sorry, thank you. We're number 13 for best countries to live in. What makes other countries
Out
better
of the
than us?
100-something countries?
How many countries
That's
are
not
there on
bad.
Earth, real quick? There's 196.
Mate,
I'm not
it's
gonna make
above
you,
100.
I'm not
I
going to
don't
make
know
you
the
flop
exact
on
number.
that. There's 196 countries on Earth. How many continents are there? This game of trivia has been
Seven?
fun. This game of trivia has been fun. At the end of the day,
I'm sorry, it's just you can't hate the country and then say,
I don't hate
people
the
want to come over
country.
here
I
for a
want to
better
make
life.
it better.
But you said it's crap. That means you love
It's
a country,
crap
but you're
for
calling
workers.
it crap?
You seem very
work?
confused. This is very semantic.
What do you mean? Yes, I am confused because you're not understanding. If minimum wage is so crappy, people come over here though. Are they better off staying in their countries or are they better off staying in America?
A lot of people who illegally immigrate here from like Mexico, they're probably better off here.
Okay, that means they're doing worse. That means they have more homeless
I never
people
said
then.
Mexico was doing better than the United States. When did I say that?
You just keep saying by America's standards we're crap. What is American standards?
No.
You keep saying because we're one of the richest, that's crap.
We're the richest country
How?
on Earth.
We have 300 million people.
We're the richest country on Earth. Probably having 78% of the population living paycheck to paycheck isn't great. It kind of sucks, right? Having such a rampant homelessness problem in the richest country on Earth kind of sucks. We should probably fix that.
Well, you have the freedom to just move.
No.
If others pay so well, you have the freedom to just move. You do. You really do.
You know what moving takes?
Oh, money?
Yeah.
I understand that. But if you want to move out of here so bad, save up some money, because you can do that. You can put $1 in a jar and wait.
How about like the founding fathers? Instead of just running away from my problems, I work to make the country better. Why are you advocating for me to just leave when I could make the country better? That's very un-American of you.
Really? Because I feel like the country has been getting better. It actually has.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Everyone! The country's been getting better for
like I said,
everyone.
Yeah, I guess.
We keep getting better.
Yeah, I guess.
Everyone calls our country crap.
Not everyone,
but not everybody.
There's a lot our country could easily do to be much, much better. All I'm saying is they should
Why don't we do it then? Why don't we do it? Because I see politicians promise easy stuff all the time, but they don't do it.
Because I have people like you who are afraid of looking anything up, and they make arguments that they're uninformed about. You've been doing
what does that have to do with anything?
2 hours
what does that
and
have to do
20
with
minutes.
anything? I asked you, why don't the politicians just do it if it's that easy?
Because you understand that politicians are, they only govern by the consent of the governed. So the problem is when I have somebody like you who's clearly never researched any topic, when you vote for people who support your uneducated point of view.
Uneducated?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn more about what I agree with.
Well, then I would stop yelling and get very ass-pained about semantics. If you're trying to do better.
This is coming from the guy who's also been insulting me. Why do you have to insult me? I don't have to yell, you don't have to insult.
Snowflakes getting triggered. I'm a big fan.
Well, you're kind of, you're judging me for yelling, but when I judge you for, cussing at me and insulting me, I just want to watch him get triggered.
You can judge me. I'm fine with that. I gotta have some fun too. I don't know. There's something unfun about getting yelled at.
I don't know why you brought this up, by the way, because this wasn't in the topic.
Because you pivoted to this. So let me ask you the other question you pivoted off of.
I also asked you, why don't politicians just do it if it's that easy? If most of the country agrees with it.
Because politicians have to listen to their constituents. Unfortunately, I have people like you who do vote, and unfortunately, they hold back a lot of progress that's supported by research.
So I guess more than half the country's dumb for electing Trump. Is more than half the country dumb?
Well, more than half the country didn't elect Trump, but that's popular vote memes, so hey.
All right.
Are they dumb? No, I think there's some very valid reasons to support Trump. You've just not walked into one. But hey, let's go back to the question.
How about this?
What's wrong with immigrants coming into our country? Let's increase the number of immigrants we have coming in, and let's give amnesty to the 11 to 14 million that are already here.
They should just be required to speak English, and
Why?
That is the language we speak.
Why would we?
If you go to Britain, I don't think if you're Mexican, they'll be like, oh, yeah, we got Mexican signs. We got my bad. We got Spanish signs everywhere. Read that. I think if you go to Britain, they're not going to do that. Unless they do.
They have a lot more. I think that a lot of things are in Mandarin too, but that's because they are. Or in some places it's Russian. It's because they live close to a country that speaks a different language. Guess what?
All right, so we should
so
have signs with every language.
In Vietnam and Laos, right? If somebody speaks Laotian memes and they travel into Vietnam, some of the stuff's gonna be in Laotian, and the vast majority is going to be in Vietnamese. Again,
so we should have signs.
I agree. People should try and learn to speak English, but I'm not going to stifle the growth of my economy and the well-being of my country because you think that everybody who comes over here is just like English is some foreign concept.
Did you know if you don't speak English, it makes it hard to learn? If you come over here, did you know if you're a Russian kid and if you come here and with your idea and he doesn't want to speak English, how is he going to learn? How many actual teachers know Russian? And everyone in a school, are you going to make a separate Russian school? That's segregation. What are you going to do?
You know that
What are you going to do for all the languages?
You know that we already have like bilingual teachers and bilingual schools, right?
To teach every subject, so the education's worse.
It's not worse. It'd just be in a
It would be worse if one person's teaching every single subject
I don't know if you know this,
only Russian-speaking kid.
But a lot of
How do you want to solve that?
A lot of younger people who do come into our country, even illegally, do speak English. It's a lot of older people who don't speak English.
What about the ones who don't? You said you shouldn't be required to speak English. What are we going to do about them?
They shouldn't be required. They're going to learn English by being in proximity to it. That's how languages are learned quite often. I'm not going to stifle the growth of my...
If they're children and they want to go to school, they're just going to fail the first part of their courses because they don't understand anything. Then they'll start passing when they learn English.
A lot of children who come into this country are bilingual, or they learn really fast.
What about the ones who aren't? You're not taking them into consideration. What about them?
Then we're going to teach them English.
You should have taught them English before they came in. What if they don't want to learn it? You said
we don't have control over Mexican institutions.
You said they should have the choice if they don't want to speak English. You said that.
No, I didn't say they should have the choice to not speak English. I said they should learn English, but I'm not going to stop somebody from immigrating here because they don't. I wouldn't stop a wealthy Nigerian from immigrating here because he doesn't speak English. I wouldn't stop...
Before they come in here, they don't have to speak anything. When they come in here, they have to learn it. Why not just teach them at the front gate so we don't have to change anything?
Because I'm not going to stifle the growth of my country because it makes you a little more comfortable sometimes.
What do you... Oh my god. They're not going to be comfortable. What if they didn't learn English? They're going to be like, oh, what is this? I can't speak any of this. What is this? I don't know what to buy. I don't know how much things are. No one taught me this. I need to learn English. Oh, well, guess what? They can't get a job because they can't do an interview because they don't understand them. They're not going to get a job. They're going to be homeless.
Have you ever been to another country?
Are you going to give them free teaching lessons? Are you going to do that?
Have you ever been to another country?
I have not. Are you going to give them free teaching lessons? You're not answering the question.
For basic things, and I don't know, hopefully you'll get the chance to travel at some point. When you go to a different country, especially if you immigrate there are English things you pick up immediately because you have to. So, for example, when I go down to Central or South America, I know enough Spanish that I can do trade, right? I can be like,
are you going to answer my question, though?
What question? Sorry.
What about the people who didn't want to learn English the first chance they got? They come in here, they try to get a job. Are you going to give them free lessons when they come in here?
Sure.
Okay, I would understand if you want to give them free lessons at the border when they want to come in, but because that's cheaper.
Because I'm not going to stifle the growth.
That actually is cheaper.
Because I'm not going to stifle the growth of my country to make a few people more comfortable.
But he can still work while he's learning English.
Correct.
He can still have a job. He's not going to get a job in America if he doesn't speak English.
No.
Sure, you can be Mexican. You can be Spanish.
Believe it or not, a lot of people who don't speak English have jobs in the U.S. Sucks.
I wonder why. Because, everyone's called a racist nowadays. People are afraid to tell those people, no, because you don't speak English. I can prove that because your media is the one who provides it all the time.
What do you mean, my media?
Left media, my bad. The left media. Okay. Democrat media. CNN.
Okay.
CNN is left-wing, Fox is right-wing.
Okay. I don't watch either.
Employee doesn't get job because the manager said you gotta speak English. Then the manager gets fired.
That's not how anything works.
Why is that? That's not how anything works. I see it all the
Although,
time on the news.
it
Is your news lying to us?
You know what's also
Is your
really
news
cool?
lying to us?
In this country, we actually have it be a requirement. Maybe you'll find out, I guess, I don't know, you're in 9th grade or whatever.
It's not a requirement to speak English?
No. We actually have a requirement for second language. You have to take 2 years of foreign language, I believe, to graduate in the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it or not.
I took Spanish. And I don't know, look at it.
Oh, well. Hey. Sucks
How
for
many
you.
people actually remember these languages?
I'm sorry that you were put in a position where you were able to learn a second language and you just chose not to give a fuck. So, I don't know, Doug.
I did learn it. I knew almost fluent Spanish.
No, you don't.
And then I just completely, I was learning it, then I just forgot.
You don't get,
I know very few words now.
You don't get near fluent, and then you just forget a language. But regardless, again, I'm not willing to stifle the growth of my country because you're upset. At the end of the day, people should
if you don't want to stifle the growth, get rid of abortions.
People should learn English when they live here, but while they are working here, they can be learning English at the same time. If you want America to keep growing, you get rid of abortions. That doesn't grow our economy. In fact,
it gives us more people. It gives us more people. You want more people, but when I say get rid of abortions, no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, because you because you don't understand the implications. So a lot of the abortions being done, they aren't being done by, like, I don't know, people in very good situations. They're usually being done in places with very bad situations, very poor access to education, single-parent households.
So the rich
These
women
are a lot of abortions.
How many abortions are in America every year?
I think 300,000 roughly, something like that.
Is that not enough to grow our country? Is that not enough? Or are you only counting the people outside of the woman's? You're taking away a human life, and you're not giving it a chance. Therefore, a country can't grow if you're killing babies. But you want an immigrant to come.
Dude, if you want to talk about abortion, I'm happy to fuck you up on that conversation too. But we should probably finish this one.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I want our economy to grow. If we can bring people in and grow the economy, why not do that? That's my argument.
And why can't they learn English at the border, but learn English in the country? That makes no sense.
Well, they can learn it either way. Do you think everybody who tries to immigrate here just doesn't know English?
They need to learn English though. That should be a requirement.
I think they should. Yeah.
But you want to give them a choice, is what you told me. Unless I didn't read you correctly.
I never said that. I said I think they should learn English if they want to live here. But they can learn English while they're working here.
Why? Just so it can make their lives harder on them? Just so people can judge them?
Dude, I thought you
they don't know
hard work.
They don't know words, they need to say it.
Now you don't like hard work, right?
They can work hard in their country, and then they can get a job. My great grandfather, he didn't come to. My great grandfather didn't come to America until he learned English, and once he did, he started up his own business. He worked hard. He was a good guy.
What about the people who came here, didn't speak English, and contributed massively to our country?
Did they know English now?
Yeah, because they learned English while they were living here. And we didn't stop them at the border and be like, no. No, tia.
You should, though, because if you're forcing them to learn English, you should force them at the border so they're more content to learn it. They want to get in, so make them learn English. They want to be a U.S. citizen. They hate their country.
Let's get you off brown people, because I understand this is really scary to you. So let's talk
I'm not only talking about brown people, I'm talking about every immigrant.
Oh,
I don't care if you're Italian, Russian.
Oh,
I don't care if you're an Irish guy who only speaks Gaelic.
So here's the thing. I think that if, like, somebody from Japan, like a billionaire from Japan, wants to immigrate here and they don't know any fucking English, they've never even heard an English word, let them. And since I have that standard, I have it for everybody.
Billionaire. You wanna legally immigrate and become a citizen? You can learn English.
I think they should learn English, but I'm not gonna. Why would you want to shoot people down? That's not how this country was founded.
I didn't say shoot people down.
Stop people. That's what I mean.
And, you know,
I don't
then you
mean
can come in.
shoot people. That's not
Yeah,
how
like-
this country was founded. You understand that a lot of, like, French speakers, Spanish speakers founded this country, right? I don't understand your, like, extreme opposition. American is just
And okay,
who's here.
all right. If this is such a big deal, why don't we have signs of every language everywhere? For at least to help those people out, you know,
do,
to
in
help them out
almost
so they can learn
everywhere.
English better.
We do almost everywhere.
Really, there are German
And-
signs at a McDonald's.
In almost every place you go, you have options to get things in Spanish. Or if you call anywhere,
German,
you usually
Russian,
have the option.
French.
Well, we're
Is
not.
there German, French, and all that?
If we were connected to Germany or France, yeah, there probably would be.
Oh, but you know, we're a land of opportunity and equality. We need to be equal.
Unless
though.
you don't speak English, we're not a land of opportunity and equality under your system. But I'm not a.
What do you mean under my system? You can't. It's in any other country. I've seen a.
Because in my system,
right.
we're the land of equality and opportunity. If you want to come here and you want to work hard, you want to try and learn English, you want to try and raise your family, hell yeah, bruh. America. Under your system, if you don't speak English, I don't want you. Yucky, yucky. Ick. And I'm like, well, that's silly.
You want them to speak English though. You want them
I
to,
think they should,
don't
yeah.
you?
Yeah. But I'm not going to stop them
all
from
right,
coming
can
to
they
the
choose
country
not to
because they're
speak it?
not
Can they choose
fluent
not to
English
speak it?
speakers.
Can
I
they choose
guess.
not to speak it?
Yeah.
Why? You
For the
need to
same
know
reason-
English.
For the same reason, some people in Canada only speak French, because that's how it happens sometimes.
I wonder, an English in a French colony turned into a, kind of just a mixture of English and French people.
What? Can you?
It was a French and an English colony. That's why they speak French and English.
What if we have Spanish-English states? Then it's both.
Do we have that?
Yeah. We have communities that... We have, I guess if you want to call them a bilingual
Communities or
we do that.
states?
I mean, both, I guess.
Well, what states? What
Southern
states
states,
are
a lot of them.
Spanish and a English?
Southern states.
What do you mean a lot of them? Which ones?
Like Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, California.
Texas?
Yep.
They're Spanish speaking. It's still required you learn English, though.
And I think they should learn English. Yep. I don't think it's required. I'm not going to stop somebody from coming to my country because they don't speak it. They can learn it while they're here.
I don't want to learn English, but I'm going to only speak Russian. I only speak that. You have to put signs up, because that's equal and fair. Shite.
So, what's your problem with equality? Because you seem to have a problem with it. Who cares?
I don't.
If somebody doesn't speak English and they move here and they are learning to speak English, who fucking cares that they're learning to speak English while they're here paying taxes and working?
My grandfather wasn't fluent in English. He knew enough to get him by. That should be the requirement. You gotta learn certain words and certain sentences.
I would argue.
I'm not saying learn fluent
I would
Spanish.
argue most every
English.
person who lives here or who immigrates here legally or illegally speaks some English. Because English is the most
like
common.
guns, you gotta know a
English is the
certain
most
amount,
common
though.
trade language.
But like guns, you gotta know a
And
certain
our
amount,
media
though.
is the most popular in the world.
But like guns, you gotta know a certain amount, though.
No,
You know?
because
You got what
somebody
I'm saying here?
because somebody being a fluent English speaker doesn't make me or them safer. Where guns do. Bad analogy, not
Okay.
analogous.
About
Big
this
frown
border
face.
thing. ICE. Do you know drug traffickers and child sex traffickers they caught?
Some, yeah.
Some?
Yeah.
Couple thousand? Some?
Yeah, so if you want to talk about... So here we go, back to the research.
You want weaker borders?
Here we go, back
But
to
only
the research, because you don't like facts and you only argue from feelings. Did you know illegal
Fine,
and legal
fine.
immigrants commit less crime?
Look up how many...
Illegal and legal immigrants commit less...
ICE picks up.
Illegal and legal criminal... Legal and illegal immigrants commit less crime per capita than U.S. citizens. That includes sex trafficking. There are more U.S. sex
Why?
traffickers...
Because there's 300 million
You know what per capita means? You're roboting out. I'll give you a second. You don't know what per capita means.
No, I do not.
You won this point too. You don't know what per capita means? We can't even fucking argue, dude. If you don't know shit about anything, it's very... So it says as a percentage. So per 100,000 people. So a per capita stat would be like, let's say 3 people in the United States, per capita, per 100,000. 3 of those people are murderers. But people who come up here, who come up here from Mexico, people who come up here, only 1 out of every 100,000 people is a murderer. That means they commit less murders per capita than U.S. citizens.
All right, now
again,
I know what it means.
This isn't even argued about like immigrants and crime and shit. The best thing you could do if you're actually worried about drugs and sex trafficking, which you're not, is you would legalize drugs and you would legalize sex work. Those would be the 2 best things you could do.
This is child sex trafficking.
Okay. Well, there's normal sex trafficking too.
2,000 an estimate around 2,300 child.
You're roboting out. You're gonna have to repeat everything you just said.
My bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
2,300 edited suspected. In 2020, were caught crossing the border. An estimate, at least.
Okay. How many were caught in the United States?
I don't fucking know.
You don't fucking know?
What do you mean? A lot of them.
God.
Across the border.
You're roboting it so fucking hard. I don't know what the hell's going on, but Jesus. It's rough.
Sorry, my phone just had a stroke.
Mate,
all right.
The problem is when you say, oh, but we caught so many child sex traffickers, and I'm like, well, okay, how many did we catch in the U.S.? And you're like, well, I don't know. Your argument has to be they just crime come in.
We need less child sex traffickers coming in the U.S. We need less of that. That's why.
I agree. You know, to make it a lot easier.
You agree we need stronger borders?
No, because having a stronger border won't do anything for sex trafficking. We have
It does though. It does. That's why ISIS. Oh my god. It won't do anything. So, checking to see who the child is, checking to see who the guy is, and all that. If you're going to weaken that to make it easier for them to get across, more can go across.
We still have people coming across in my system.
A lot, apparently, since the borders aren't that strong. They can easily lie. That's what child sex traffickers do. They lie.
So here's the thing. And again, if you research this, you know what I'm already going to say. But let's say you have a sex trafficker living in a Spanish-speaking community. Let's say a community of illegals, right?
Okay.
Let's say some of those illegals know that this person does fucked shit. They do drug things. They do child things. It's bad. Under my system, they wouldn't be illegal, but they could easily go to the police. So these people could go to the police and report it. The problem is, under your system, where people
You're talking about in America.
Yeah.
I'm talking about stopping them in their tracks from coming into America. That's what I'm talking about. They're not going to be able to get into America if the border strength keeps on, being secured. Obviously, there's going to be a few who do get in, but we're stopping more and more. Do you want that? Or do you want them to come in the country, then get caught? Guess what? Some of them are good at hiding. Do you know what hiding is?
You understand that border security doesn't do much at all for stopping drugs or sex trafficking. You understand there's a major problem with
I just gave you the number. Did I not just give you the number?
That doesn't tell us what it would be with different factors, like less or more border patrol agents or other things. That's just a number.
We need more. We need
point of data?
We need the child to get tested to see if that's actually his kid.
How do you...
Or her kid.
Okay. Why couldn't you do these things under
wrong?
Why couldn't you do these things under my system?
Oh, let them go into the country, then catch them. Because that's good. That's good. You give them a chance to hide. You give them a chance to,
No.
put the
Under
child
my-
in their basement.
Under my system, crossing illegally isn't really a thing. You just go to a center when you cross the border. Illegal
So you're
immigrants
making it
are
easier
much...
for child sex traffickers and drug traffickers. You're making it
No.
easier for the cartels
Not at
and the
all.
gangs. Yeah, you are.
No.
If we
Not
have
at all.
less border, how do you not understand this? If there's a fort, right? You take away the walls, way easier to attack. You put up the walls. This is not a wall.
Do you have any idea how many drugs and sex traffickers come through the border that are waved in by border security who are corrupt due to, in part, dropping our standards for hiring border security? Do you have any idea?
So we need less? So we need less so more can come in?
No. The point is having a lot of the people at the wall doesn't stop these things. The best way to stop,
since you're stopping them in their tracks.
The best way
you
to
don't
stop,
want more criminals in the country, do you?
The best way to stop drug cartels would be to legalize drugs in the U.S. That'd be the best thing.
You want cocaine to be legal?
Yeah.
You want cocaine to be legal?
Yep.
You know, some people have died just from one line.
Okay. Some people have died.
You.
Some people have died from buying one gun, but you're fine with that. So try not to change your arguments too much, because the cognitive dissonance.
You can't get addicted to a gun. There's a difference between an addiction and just having
it only takes one bullet in the head to kill you.
I'm gonna try cocaine. See what it does. Oh, now I'm addicted. I can't stop buying it. My life is ruined. Is that crack? I'll try that. The government made it legal.
Well, I guess it's good that right now nobody can try cocaine or crack in the U.S. See how fucking stupid that comment was?
You want to make drugs legal. You want to make it easier for people to kill themselves.
Yeah, bro. I just want everyone. You know how it is.
Oh, everyone's gonna be happier with drugs. Look, here's LSD. Here's crack, the drug that's known for making people violent. Oh, here's coke. Oh, people still get violent off that drug, actually. LSD. Oh, you hallucinate and do all sorts of weird stuff. You might even break the law if you're on drugs.
Well, good thing that in the U.S. you can't get any drugs, or my argument would be really stupid. Thank God nobody in the U.S. does cocaine,
it's called
crack,
prescription drugs
LSD.
that actually help.
Oh, good thing we don't have any problem with prescription. No, you're right. You won this point too. Good thing. What else you want to talk about? What other memes you got? If you wanna...
I actually got to go.
All right.
I've learned that I'm going somewhere around 6, and I got to get ready.
Hopefully it's a school.
All right. What?
Nothing. Have a good trip.
All right. Have a nice day. It was good arguing with you.
Yep. Oh. Well. That was hell. The dude, fish smart. Fuck. I was throwing a lot of shade. I couldn't help it. My last two debates, I was way nicer, but oh man, that was bad. I was like, he'd bring something up, and I'd ask about it, and he'd be like, "Oh, I don't know." It's like, why'd you bring it up? I don't know. I had fun though. That guy was rough. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna turn it into a video, and I'm gonna post it at the debate group where he was like, yeah. Dude, I have no idea. It was wild. You guys had a lot of really good memes in chat though. I was liking that. So A+ on the memes, guys. I do like that. I should probably be nicer to people, but damn, some of that stuff. And there's some basic stuff. I don't know. He wanted to come here. Because I was talking about how, like, the last gun rights advocate who came on, he did shit. In my opinion, he did shit. But that guy was like, oh, I'll kill it. I'll do better. He did not do better. Human rights are rights unless they don't speak fluent English. But then if they speak partial English, like my grandfather, who didn't work hard enough to become a millionaire, but he worked hard. I don't know. All over the map. I don't know. It's fun. Not a lot of people want to come on. I try for a lot of people. It's unfortunate. The only people I can ever get on are like the gun rights people. I really want to get somebody on for abortion, and I really want to get somebody on for like just immigration, because like that guy, it seems like they don't really know stuff. Um, like he does the Schrodinger's immigrant thing. Yeah, if you want to come on and argue about something, Arrow, feel free. Okay. Um, but he doesn't know the difference between like anything. It's just crazy. Shock therapy. That was rough. Hopefully I get more people in the future that are willing to talk about more diverse subjects, but most of them just don't, like, they just don't want to. And I only pull from like actual debate groups where people are there to actually debate, but nobody wants to come on and talk. And I feel like I'm nicer to a lot of people. I feel like I started that conversation really nice. Like the gun control. I don't know when we started memeing, but oh my god. Dude, it was so embarrassed. There were a couple of times, and I'll admit, sometimes I really do go for gotchas. But like when he was like, the Second Amendment is this, and I'm like, what's the whole Second Amendment? And he didn't know it. He's like, I care about all the amendments equally. And I'm like, what's the Seventh Amendment? And he had no idea. It's it's rough. I don't know. Fish. He couldn't get fish smart. I don't know, I don't know how you are in a debate group or you're like willing to come on and you don't know like anything about anything that you want to talk about. Um, I didn't pull on a random person. I decided the subject. He wanted to come on and talk about gun control. As a topic he picked. He picked it. So I don't know. He didn't know any of them equal. Dude, I don't know. I don't know. Pretty fun though. But